What is up, my friends? My name is Echo Thrumi, and today I'm here with episode 9 of the Spring Trap. My co-host Cleric Dragoon is here with me. As you can see, just looked up right there. And we have Jake from One Hive in the house today. We're going to be talking Clash of Clans. We're going to be talking a bit about the new game that's in development for him from Done Right Games. And we're going to be talking about all of the random questions that you guys sent in to us. That's really where the fun comes in with this show. Guys, we're ready for a good one tonight. I'm so stoked to see so many of you guys here in the chat already. Thank you guys for the support. I really appreciate it. And well, why don't we get into things here? We're going to start out by going over to my co-host, Cleric Dragoon. How you doing today, brother?
What is going on, Echo and Jake? Welcome to the madness. We're glad to have you here tonight. And guys, I am super stoked tonight. So let's go.
Yes, I am super stoked as well. And yes, like Goon said, Jake, thanks for coming to the show. How you doing tonight, brother? Why don't you give everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, why you are the important man in Clash of Clans that you are, why everyone bows to you.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to finally meet you, Echo. I've met Cleric before, but good to meet good people always.
You too.
I think you guys are overselling me a little bit. Not that big a deal, but thank you for the invitation. Clash, well, sorry about the phone ringing in the background there. I'm an old school Clasher. I've been retired for some time now, but I think most people know that I was sort of a big war advocate early on when war first came out and when war sort of started to progress past just all of us not knowing what we're doing, hitting buttons, and really get into strategy and competition amongst people that all felt the same way about it. When war first came out, everyone was sort of in a clan where one or two people were like, oh, war, that's awesome. That's what I want to focus on, and I want to be good at it. And everybody else was just sort of throwing darts. So once those people found each other, which I like to think that I helped a little bit with at least, it got a lot better. And then that's when things got, the channel started trying to teach people about strategies, and it just, the rest is history. And like I said, just to be a small part of that was a lot of fun. But again, I'm old school. I'm not really a big clasher these days, and not really in the scene. But thank you guys again for having me on your Clash show.
No problem, man. We're really stoked to have you.
If you want to talk about your journey so far in other realms, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah. Well, there was a point where people like me that were in the competitive war scene were sort of tired of the way that Supercell was doing things, and not that it was right or wrong. It's just not what we wanted. And there was a lot of suggestions given, and like, this is what you need to do to fix your game, and this and that. And finally, there came a day, not too awful long ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, something like that. I started thinking about, the mobile space is really lacking a good competitive game. There's vainglory, there's things like that are good and really fun, but it's totally different, than like a strategy game like Clash of Clans, at least in my mind. And I was like, I'm giving all these opinions, I'm giving all these suggestions, and Supercell didn't like them, and that's cool. But a lot of people did. A lot of people on the channel were like, man, that's a great idea. I wish they would do that. I wish Supercell would hire Jake and this and that. And finally, one day, it was just kind of like, why not try to make a game, use these ideas that seem to be at least somewhat popular for myself, for a game that I want to make. And that's when I put the video out saying, hey, I want to try this. I want to make a game. And if you're able to help, if you want to help, hit me up. And then since then, it's just been crazy. Like the reaction, the support, the people that reached out, they said, hey, yeah, I want to help with this. People all the way from, financing to development, to sound, to, copyright attorneys, all kinds of crazy stuff. And so we're just sort of riding that wave and trying to get things done. Well, I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about that, but we're coming up on an investor meeting in February, at the end of February, to try to get funding to sort of finish it up. We're building the framework of the game and all the things that go along with that, which I'm not a real technical guy as far as that. I'm more the idea guy of what all these people that, are in chat that are saying, what's up to you guys, that I listened to for years in Clash of Clans, the ideas that I had and the ideas that these people gave me, that we that's where I fall into the equation. When it comes to coding, I couldn't even write one line of code. I'm worthless on that stuff. So that's where we're at. So sometimes I feel worthless right now, but hopefully as things progress and we get into a more playable game, a beta stage, hopefully in this summer around that time, then I'll sort of be able to do what I do and be as critical of my own game as I was of Supercell's game. That's my idea.
Yeah, and I'm sure
Fair
you
enough.
will. And I know Goon and myself are both really looking forward to get our hands on it and see what it's all about. Always looking to support you and whatever you got going over there in Done Right Games. So, but we're going to have a lot of questions coming in about that throughout the show. So what we're going to do is, first of all, thank, I think, who dropped that donation?
Somebody, there's some donation hype going on right here, bro.
Right there, dropped a $50 donation. Thank you so much, man. Much love for that. I appreciate it very much. I know Goon does as well. So let's get into these questions right now. And remember, guys, they are random. They're Clash of Clans related. They're Done Right Games related. They are random related. And you guys, if you throw questions in the chat throughout the show, we probably won't grab them right now, but we will take them at the end of the show, because after we get through our lists and pages of questions that have come in, we're going to go to what you guys have to say. But keep that chat going. We definitely want to have those questions as well, because you guys are so important to us. So we're going to start out with this one right here. It's actually the only question that came through on Twitter this time. Most of the questions came in on Discord this time around, but it says it's from Michael Pryor. He says it's a question for Jake. Is your game similar to Clash of Clans, and or what can you tell us about it? We're itching to know the details. Now, I know you told us some about it already, but is there anything more that you want to give or are able to give about your game? Told you there'd be a lot of questions about it tonight. What can you give for us on that?
No, for sure. And people, that's the first question most people ask is, what kind of game is it? Is it like Clash of Clans? And I guess the simple answer is yes. It is going to be a base building game, but I hope that's where the similarities stop. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to make a Clash knockoff. That's been done to varying degrees of success, but that's not the idea. My idea has always been more of a take what someone did like that and make it better. Improve all around, not a copy and paste with a few minor changes, but to every aspect of the game to make it better. And I think it's been done before, not for Clash of Clans and not for this genre, but for lots of other genres. You look at games like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like H1Z1 in the PC realm, and it was this huge hit, and it was something so unique and different. And then PUBG come along and just smashed it, and just made it better, did the same thing, just improved upon it. That's my idea for it, is to take a good concept, which Clash was and is, and just try to change it, just to make it better in every aspect and do more, give more play styles, more customization, more game modes, more everything, and just sort of one up them, do one more. So.
Yeah, and that's exciting because we all love Clash of Clans. I would assume that most people watching the show right now love Clash of Clans, and we all respect you for who you were in Clash of Clans. So knowing that you're taking the things that you think needed changes, and you're basically making a new game, making all the things that you thought were wrong right, it's exciting to see what's going to come out, and there's a lot of hype behind it. So best of luck with it.
And not only that, but to not just make what I think, but to try to make what all of the people that watch my channel and that I've communicated with over the last 4 years probably, what they thought. It's not just me doing me. Right. It's trying to make that void that I feel like is. I feel like a lot of people, even people that aren't watching this and then will never watch this, that played Clash of Clans and loved it but got burned out on it. I think there's millions of people waiting for the next thing, the next thing that really grabs them and pulls them in, and I hope to provide that. Yeah,
I think you will. It's exciting. There was a second part to that question, which I'm embarrassed to not even be able to answer. I mean, I'm a sports guy. I'm a phys ed teacher, and I don't even know the answer to this. It says, do you have plans to watch the Super Bowl party, etc.? So I'm going to take that one. I don't have any plans for the Super Bowl at all, and it's embarrassing because I don't even know if teams are yet chosen or if they made their way to the Super Bowl, or I don't know anything about football right now. It's all because everything has been about the spring trap for the past month. That's all I think about is the trap. So that's just an excuse. I know Goon probably can't answer this question either. So I personally don't have any plans for the Super Bowl. I'll probably be recording a video or doing a live stream or something like that. What about you guys? What do you got going?
I'll let you go, Jake.
I'm not an NFL guy. I mean, obviously, I know that the Patriots are in, and I believe, is it the Eagles? Is that right? Patriots, Eagles are in? I believe that's correct. Anyways,
Don't know.
I cannot stand the NFL. I think they're a bunch of overpaid crybabies. I love college football, watch it religiously, but professional sports just does not do it for me. So no plans to watch it. Don't care about it. No parties. Don't care.
Me either, man. I'm not a sports guy. So for me, if I'm not working or doing something in the house, I'll definitely be grinding out content. So for me, it's I'm okay with that. But I will say this: years ago, that's what got me on Clash of Clans. They run an ad during, I think it was a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think my father-in-law came over and wanted to see the game, and so I went watching it. I put it on for him, and this ad ran, and I was just like, "What's that?" And I was hooked after that. So
yeah, Ward in the chat's got it. Jake's all SEC, baby, all day, every day. I mean, 2 SEC teams in the finals this year. You gotta love it. So,
all right, well, let's move on. We're gonna move out of Twitter into Discord, and this is where a lot of the people from the Circle of Clans, they're all part of this Discord server, and we have some great questions, some crazy questions. And the first one that we're gonna get into right here is: do we think Supercell will spend more time weeding out modders? And I guess we could talk about the latest update. I know we've kind of mentioned it before that we think this was a step towards or keeping modders, at bay because of it's a little bit easier to do these attacks. Just so you guys know, Jake is not actively playing Clash of Clans, so he can't really give us the in-depth information based on what came out in the most recent update because he hasn't played it. He's heard about it, but he hasn't played it himself. So he'll add info where he can on that. But Goon? Did you forget the question?
No, I got it this time. I think that this step inadvertently did make a dent in cheating. I don't think that it's as prevalent now, or people don't rely on it as much, because now, really and truly, if you make a good plan, you're gonna, you got a great possibility of a 3-star. You don't have this great need. People, there used to be this big void. When you went to Town Hall 10 and now 11 of the talent pool, from 9 to 10 was a huge leap, and people seem the need to go get these third-party apps and, cheat. But I don't think that that's as prevalent. Now you could go from Town Hall 9 to 10 and literally run the same strats. You can run the same strats. You don't have to learn any new strats now.
Let me jump in, and I'm not actively playing, but let me just tell you the reason I think that that's probably not accurate. And you could very well be right, but just from my experience, the saying was always when I was playing, the reason that we do it is because Town Hall 10's broken. That was just the mantra of
I remember.
And it's always has been. But how many times did you and I both know people that were Town Hall 9 lifers? Town Hall 9 lifers that were caught and they were modding. So it had nothing to do with the balance. It's a cheater's a cheater. And I think that people, even when it makes it easier, they're still going to cheat because they enjoy the cheating. They enjoy the breaking the rules. It's what's fun for them. That's the game for them. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But that's been my experience, is that had very little to do with the difficulty and a whole lot more to do with the fact that they could and they could get away with it.
Well, there's a mentality behind cheating too, and this I bring from the competitive sports scene. I have a friend of mine. He's actually a football coach, a high school football coach, varsity coach. And when this whole Tom Brady stuff came out about Deflategate, when he was softening up the balls, I talked to him about it because he's a huge football guy, even more than me. And I said, "What do you feel about that?" And he said to me, "If you're not cheating, you're not trying to win." And some people have that mentality, and whether it's in gaming, whether it's in sports, if you're not cheating, you're not trying to win. And I mean, that may be the mentality that some of these people bring. I'm not really sure.
No, I think that's probably true. That the winning at all costs. Make it sound nicer if you want to. That's prevalent with any competition, anything you look at. And it's just not, I guess maybe it's the same, but to me, it's different. This is a game. This is not something with millions of dollars at stake and endorsement deals and all of that stuff that goes along with professional sports. It's a game that we play for entertainment, for fun, and fair competition to me is what's fun. I get that some people, like I said, they get their kicks off of breaking the rules, and that's just, it's always going to be that way. It's not just Clash. It's any game. So
I'd hope for the best on it, man. I swear the changes now have been really positive. At least, I've seen some wars throughout my coverage where the clan I'm covering is FP, and the clan they're facing has a questionable background, and the war was really tight. So I think if it's done one thing, it's bridged the gap and made it to where fair play clans can actually take down a modding clan theoretically. What I'm saying?
And historically, modders have been worse players. I mean, there's just no debate about it. Everyone's seen it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to compete at all. But when you make something easier, 3 stars are 3-star. You know what I mean? No matter if you do it in 1 minute or 3 minutes, or with swag and troops and spells or not, 3 stars or 3-star. So that will close the gap, and it will make it probably more fun for non-cheating clans. But I think it's probably still out there.
Yeah. Definitely still out there. All right, let's move on to the next question. It's actually for you, Jake. It says, will there be open bug testing for the new game? Are you at that point yet? Do you know if that's going to be a thing?
There will be closed beta. Unfortunately, we are limited on it's just the way it is when you're doing a mobile thing. At least to my knowledge, gets into that technical part that I don't fully understand. But I think we've got like 2,000 beta spots available. So when we're at that point of the initial beta, it'll be a closed beta. There could be a point where we do a soft launch type situation, similar to what you see in like Brawl Stars or something like that, to where it'll be more of an open beta. But initially, the first people to play the game, it will be a closed beta.
All right, cool. And we have our next question. It says, from Nedster, another guy from the Circle of Clans, what's your most embarrassing Clash moment, both in and I cut off some of it, both in and out of the game? Example, when Powerbang's wife took over his stream and was telling embarrassing stories about him. Do we have any embarrassing Clash moments? Mine, there's Nesdor right there. So do you guys have anything? Because I don't have many embarrassing moments besides having awful fails in war. I mean, that's what I see.
Completely crapping on 2 attacks is embarrassing enough. And, that happens to me from time to time. So, that's about it there, man.
Yeah,
Jake, anything
I would
different?
say just bad attacks, but probably even more so than that is belly button coming out in first Clash Live. We were pretty drunk, and I don't remember exactly how that came across or how it got to that point, but start pulling your belly button out to 1,000 people. That's just weird.
Oh, that's funny. I wish there was footage of that one.
There probably is. It's
probably somewhere.
If anybody has footage of that, you need to send that to my Twitter at Echo Through Me. Everyone in the chat, I'm sure someone.
I would say that probably Potter is your best bet on that.
That's funny.
Pirate Potter, nice.
All right, so we have a. What's that?
I was going to tell the chat to save most of the questions until we work through. Just save your questions, and towards the end, we'll get to them, guys.
I'm trying to grab what I can from the chat.
Okay.
As we roll too, but we'll get to them at the end for sure.
That JJ from Doctor, I think it's a fair question. It's a tough question, but you can ask that one later. There in chat.
You know what? Why don't I jump into it right now? Because I haven't even read it. It says, how do you respond to critics who say you can only come back for a few moments so he could raise money for the fans? Oh, a few months. His new game, which will probably never even come out. That's a rough question right there, man.
Yeah, that's
funny,
fair, because I did come back for a short period, and I think some people probably think that YouTube and Twitch, you make all this money. It's silly. Obviously, I think you guys probably know, but
yeah,
we know.
We've discussed that.
I came back for the excitement of the CWL, and there's no other reason. I had a lot. I mean, I wish it would have been what it could have been, and that Supercell had continued sort of that stance that I thought they had taken. And we were still playing it and having a lot of fun. But by season 2, with the just continuous cheating scandals, it was just more than I could take. the money is never. I mean, I have a job and I have a lot of bills. I have a home. I have a family. I have cars payments, like every other person, middle-aged person in this country, basically. YouTube and Twitch and all of that has never been much more than a drop in the bucket. And it is something that I loved. You know, when I started the channel with 0 views and 0 subs, it was because I love the game and I wanted to do it. And that never really changed. If that wasn't the case, I would have been a Supercell fanboy and I would have been, you know, sucking up and always, this is great. Oh, it's the best thing ever. But that's not the case. And the reason I left had nothing to do with like, oh, I got some money now, so let me try this game. I actually hadn't even had the idea or the real decision to make the game till after I came back. So it had absolutely nothing to do with it. As far as the game not coming out, we'll see. It's already gone a lot farther than a lot of people thought it would. And if we get the funding that I think we will, the game will come out. So, you know, holler at me at the end of the year and we'll see if it's going to come out or not.
All right, time will tell.
Fair
right?
enough.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Well answered. We have a question that came in from Blaze from Too Swift, Too Sure. He asked another one for you, Jake. And then I think we slow down on the nailing you with questions after this one. What's your biggest Clash regret? Is there anything you regret from Clash of Clans?
Honestly, probably coming back when I did. I'm grabbing a beer, by the way, so I'm kind of mobile right now.
Beer run.
You know, it's just, again, I came back and I was so excited, and CWL was just going to be the dream that I had sort of fought for and thought about for a long time, and it was just so wasn't. Mostly because of Supercell, I would put most of the blame there, but also there was some other blame to go around. But besides that, I don't really regret anything. I mean, I had a lot of fun with Clash. The channel was such a unique experience. I think that a lot of people don't get to have. No, I think that would be my biggest regret is coming back with, I guess, false hope or whatever you want to call it, you know.
No, that makes sense. That's a good answer to the question.
Right.
All right, so this one, Lucky asks me my breakdown on G Fuel and why I like it. All right, well, you guys know I am sponsored by G Fuel, so I would only take a sponsorship from a company that I enjoy, that I like. So multiple reasons why I like G Fuel. I got my peach iced tea right here, and I got my strawberry shortcake right here. I love the way it tastes. First of all, it really is delicious. This peach iced tea tastes like Snapple peach iced tea, which I love. So definitely by far my favorite. And it's got that what am I trying to say? It has that caffeine in it that just gives you the edge that you need. So me, I'm a coffee drinker. I usually drink coffee in the mornings, and then when I'm trying to game or stay awake throughout the day, even as a pre-workout, I'll drink my G Fuel. I'm not just trying to make money off of G Fuel. I am sponsored by them, so I do make a few dollars whenever you guys buy something, but I really do like the product, and that's why I promote it to you guys. I wouldn't promote something that I thought sucked. So yeah, selfless plug right there on the screen if you ever want me. Just saying. All right. And now we can get on to something that's more Clash related. And Lonnie Tato asks, I'm going to skip that one. We'll come back to it. I got one for you, Goon. Cole Turner asks you, what influenced you to start the Circle of Clans? And why don't you start by telling everyone what the Circle of Clans actually is?
Well, the Circle of Clans is our family of clans in Clash of Clans. And what inspired me basically was, you know, we had been playing Clash for a while. Just kind of wanted something more. You know, we wanted something more. At the time, I think leagues weren't around, but they were getting there, you know. But we were just kind of wanting to do a little bit more with the game. We wanted you know, to spend big spins, big family spins and stuff like that. So basically I looked around. I looked around a lot of different families, and I didn't really like how they operated. It seemed, you know, and I won't name any names, but it seemed really cold. And I wanted to create something different. And so that's why I started the Circle. And that's what inspired me, basically, was I wanted something more out of the game. And my buzz phrase for the Circle was I wanted to create a more pleasurable cock experience. You know, pun intended. But anyway,
I bet.
That's what we did, and we started up, and you know, it evolved, and now, you know, we went from just having no league teams to having a ton of league teams, and we're never closing the gate. We still recruit right now. From time to time, we'll recruit a team. Matter of fact, we're in need of a support team right now. So if you got a team that's it's got league-based players that pretty solid hitters, but you don't want to do league, you don't want aggravation, come talk to me. We might let you in. That's it in a nutshell.
All right. So that question was answered fairly well there. Now I'm going to move on. My list is done. I got so many questions. Usually I make a nice list. It's all organized for myself so I could just run down the list and talk to you guys. But I literally got 9 pages on top of the list that I already created. So I figured I'm just going to go through screenshots, do it that way to save myself some time throughout the day. The next question that I have is from Lava Hound Gaming. It's a question for Echo. But I guess Goon and Jake, we could all answer it. We could all answer this question. When you first started YouTube and you weren't achieving the goals you planned on, were you getting, and he wrote demotivated, but I think, what was the word that we said earlier, Goon, when we talked about this question? Demoralized or?
Discouraged.
Discouraged, yeah. So when you're when you're starting YouTube, and it's such a grind to start YouTube. We've talked about it before here on the channel, especially when you're starting out. It's discouraging when you're putting all this time into a video and then you get, 10 people come and view it. It could be discouraging. So he's asking, how do we deal with that and how do we get through it? And we got a little donation coming in right here from Spooby. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Getting a little bit of hype to you there too, brother. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Hooking it up.
So for me, since it was directed at me, I'll answer it first. And if you guys want to say anything, first of all, we started, I think I could say for the 3 of us on here, we started making YouTube content because we enjoyed the game that we were creating it for. There was a purpose for us to do it. And it wasn't that we were trying to get rich on YouTube, because you've seen enough people say this before. It doesn't really happen. And you have to be one of the luckiest people on YouTube to actually become, financially and monetarily successful on YouTube. So, I was motivated by myself, by my joy of creating the content, my joy of the game itself. I loved the game that I was creating for. I loved making the content. I actually enjoyed recording. I enjoyed doing the editing. I enjoyed making the thumbnails. It was just all fun. It was a hobby. And really something that I enjoy the most is the networking and getting to know other people from the community. I mean, everyone that you see come here on the Spring Trap, it's all because of networking and meeting people who lead you to other people. Like, as far as Jake, I never met Jake before. I've known him from his videos until Goon was able to get him to come here on the Spring Trap. We finally meet Skype to Skype, and it's a lovely experience. So, being on YouTube is more than just creating videos and having people watch them. I've met some of the greatest people, some people that I would really consider my legit friends that I've never even met in my life, but it's all because of YouTube, because of creating content and all that. So the way you deal with it is you don't expect yourself to become huge on YouTube. You do it because you enjoy it. You do it because you have it scheduled in your life so it's not overwhelming and it works out for you. And you just kind of enjoy the ride and you hope that something does come of it. And if it does, you consider yourself lucky. You did a good job, but you can't expect it. So I think I actually said that pretty well. That went better than I had planned. What do you guys think? Do you have anything to add?
You hit the nail on the head with that one, Echo, to be honest. You just don't really worry about the subs. I never did. I don't worry about the subs. I just do the content because I like it. I enjoy it. So, hopefully somebody watches. Obviously, you want some views with the amount of time and effort you put into it, but that's not what started you doing it in the first place. If you're doing it, strictly for a sub count, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, there's no question in that. And I never heard that advice when I started, but the weird thing is that I had zero expectations. I'm sure some people have heard the story, some people haven't. When I started it, I never in my wildest dreams believed that anybody outside of One Hive or potentially the clan that we had warred would ever watch one of my videos for any reason. It was such a non-thought. It wasn't an aspiration. I mean, even back then, I watched a few YouTubers, Chief Pat, Nick at Night, trying to think there was another kid that I can't remember. And, they were semi-big at the time, but that was not even a goal. It wasn't something that I said, okay, I'm gonna be that someday. It was literally just for the guys of One Hive at the time. And, got bigger than that. Obviously, I never got to those heights that you're talking about of a lot of money or anything like that. It just didn't happen. But the ride that I did get to go on, I feel like was special. I feel like it was something that not a lot of people get a chance to do. And I think that had a lot to do with it. I think the fact that I did it for one reason and it had nothing to do with money or views or subs or anything like that made a big difference.
Cool.
And Jake, you helped a lot of people suck less. That's all.
That's right, man. That's what it was all about from the get-go.
Cheers to you, brother.
Yep. And cheers to Kirsten as well. Thanks for that donation. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to keep moving on. We got one. Tyke is asking, when am I getting a green screen setup? And that's not going to happen. Actually, back in the day, I asked people on my live stream, kind of put out a poll, I guess you could call it. I had a big group of people in there. I said, should I go green screen like a whole bunch of these other guys, or should I just keep my environment behind me, what's actually in the room? And I was very surprised that most people, not most, but the majority of the people said, go without the green screen. We want to be there with you in the place that you are. And that made me happy for multiple reasons. One, I really didn't want to get the green screen, not because of the money. I just really didn't want to go that avenue, that route. So I was happy. I don't plan on using a green screen. I did move some stuff around. I don't know if you, right there. It's so small in the background because it's so far away. But I have some G Fuel back there, and I have my P.E.K.K.A. statue, and he's up there too. Maybe when it's full screen, you can see that stuff. But there's plans to make things look different in the back. It's just no green screen. It's not going to happen. Jake, you didn't use a green screen when you did that, right?
No, nothing fancy ever like that. It was very hard for me to even design thumbnails. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day, like I had one thumbnail for each series, so I never had to make and it was pretty ghetto. It wasn't like a fancy thumbnail, eye grabbing. It just was simple. One thing I wanted to throw in, I saw according to Goat in the chat there, said the trick is not to monetize, and it reminded me of something that I haven't thought of in a long, long time. Is that for months when I started YouTube, I didn't monetize my videos because I didn't want my clanmates to have to watch an ad before they watched the video. So it was like, I remember when I hit the button to start monetizing, I felt it was a strange feeling. I felt bad about it almost. It was like, man, should I be doing this? Obviously, when you start growing, it's just kind of dumb not to, because you are spending a lot of time on it. But I remember that now that for months I didn't have any monetization on my videos.
Yeah, you hit that point, like you said. In the beginning, it's not even worth it. You're getting so few views. Yeah. You're showing ads for a few bucks. It's not worth it. But when you get bigger, it's not only you're spending a lot of time, but you do spend a lot of money creating what you need to create. Getting new computers. I mean, I know I spent a ton of money when I started to see a little bit of success. I decided that I should spend some money, and it does help out. I mean, it's just what it is. You can always skip the ad after 5 seconds anyway, right?
Hey, Radical Rosh in the chat there. I've seen some of his work on Twitter. Really nice stuff, man. Impressed.
Nice.
Thanks for
coming
he
does
down,
make some nice stuff, man, for real. I actually used one of your art things I seen on Twitter in a background. One of my backgrounds on my thumbs.
Did Radical Rosh do Molt and Clash with Ash and all their stuff? Is that
I'm not sure. I know he does some thumbnails, but I've just seen some of his 3D stuff that I was really impressed with.
I think he did. Rosh, if you're listening, did you do that motion stuff? I think you did. I think it was you. I could be wrong though. I'm not big up on.
He did some for Eclipse. I seen that. And it was like you're talking about, Jake. It was all like made out of a printer of some kind. It was really nice. Really nice
cool
work.
Stuff. Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Thank you again, Spooby, for that other donation coming in, man. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. I think it was him. He does some next level stuff. Yeah, that's him. He does all that beautiful 3D stuff that all has those moving elements to it. It's cool. Definitely cool.
Right on.
Thanks for coming to the stream. All right, so our next question is from Jacked Doritos. Question for all of you. What's been your greatest accomplishment, greatest failure, biggest regret, and what brings you the most joy? So in that question, we have 4. Who wants to start it off? I won't do it this time.
Is that a Clash question or life or what?
It could be anything, I guess, man. It doesn't say. It doesn't have to be Clash. It doesn't have to be Clash. Yeah. I guess I'll start. You guys are thinking. So, my greatest accomplishment. I think I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm proud of. That I think I did well. I mean, YouTube has been great. I'm determined to do well on YouTube, but they're probably not my greatest accomplishments in my life. One of them is my 2 sons, having 2 boys, although it's not really an accomplishment to have kids because anyone can do it. I think I'm doing a pretty good job with them. So, my boys are probably my greatest accomplishment. My greatest failure, I'd have to think on. I mean, I've had failures, but nothing that's been like life-ending failures. My biggest regret, I usually don't regret things that I do, at least not initially. Usually I try to make the right decisions, so nothing that I'm really truly regretful. And what brings me the most joy? Again, my boys are going to be the ones in my family that bring me the most joy. People that, people are joy. People that care about me, people that I care about, whether they're my family, whether they're my friends, that's a joyful thing, knowing that you have people there to love, that love you, and that kind of stuff. So I guess I just got a little soft on you guys right there. I'm sorry about that, but it's really the truth. That's probably the best. As far as my greatest YouTube accomplishment, being recognized by Supercell, pulled into their NDA is pretty cool. I'm making videos for a game, and then the developer thinks that you're doing well enough to kind of bring you under their wing and do that stuff. So that was pretty cool as an accomplishment from my YouTube channel. And yeah, so how about you guys? You had time to think now.
Yeah, I think that anybody that's got kids, like you said, it's not the accomplishment of having a kid. I feel like my accomplishment is raising them well.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm doing that. It's still a work in progress. But when you see your kids behave and act in a way that makes you proud, or when sometimes other kids that they're around don't, that to me is as good as it gets as far as an accomplishment. And again, it's a work in progress. It's not something that you like, oh, I did that, now it's over. I think you probably your whole life are trying to teach your kids to do right. What was the second one? The biggest disappointment or failure? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yep.
Greatest failure.
Probably for me, it was optometry school. When I got out of college, I got into optometry school, and I went for a year. And I didn't fail any classes, but I was a heavy partier, still in college mode. Mm-hmm. Basically just drank my way out of it. They just basically asked me to leave. I wasn't going to class, things like that. So I would say that, not that I wish I was an optometrist, because I think I enjoy my life now more than I would have that way. So I think it happened for a reason. It's just that it was something that I was perfectly capable of doing and didn't do. So I don't like that. It sort of hangs over me, I guess, a little bit. What was next? I forget the questions.
Biggest regret, biggest failure, and your most joy.
Biggest regret. I don't know. I think that probably falls in line. Not finishing something that you're capable of. Mm-hmm. Same type of thing. Most joys, there's no question, my girls and my wife, the family. So those are kind of cheesy, cliche answers, but I mean, they're completely honest.
It's true, man. It is true.
If you want to say clash, then obviously it'd be different. Clash, I think my biggest accomplishment was just in some way, in some probably small way, helping guide the game in a better direction. Helping war be a little bit more exposed, those type of things. Little things like when they were going to come out with the friendly challenge, and it was basically going to put modding in the game. I feel like I had a hand in sort of adverting some of those things, or making them a little bit better, and helping people be exposed to the part of the game that I found most beautiful, which was the war, the strategy, all of those things. And I think a lot of people, the thank yous that I've gotten, a lot of people got a lot more out of the game than they potentially would have. So that was always my biggest compliment. You made the game more fun for me.
Gotcha.
Right. For me, guys, as far as accomplishment, like you say, cliche or not, my girls. But the thing is, I'm at the age now that my girls, 3 of them are, getting jobs. I know I've done right. Like my oldest, she's married now. I have 2 grandkids. My next 2. Your middle kid and your knee baby, as I call her, because I got 4, but they both have jobs and they're hard workers, and I know that I raised them right. So that is an accomplishment to me, to know that they're going to be a good part of society, and I knew that I raised them with ethics and morals, and they're going to be good kids, or good adults. As far as failures, I did the same as you, Jake. I went to school for AutoCAD, like engineering type stuff, drafting, but with computers, AutoCAD, and I didn't finish. I started a skate park for a while, and actually did that for 3 or 4 or 5 years. sold it to my nephew and got a job now at a different place. So I kind of that was cool, but I just wish sometimes I would have finished, school. Who knows what would have happened? I'd have been at a desk somewhere instead of at a paper mill. So it would have been different. Life would have been different here. But monetarily, who knows? I don't know if it have made much difference monetarily. But and as far as regrets, now that one, I had a chance to invest in a company early on, and it was a friend of mine's company, and they were struggling. And at that time, they were struggling, and I had a chance to invest, but at that time, I was struggling, and I was going to put another mortgage on the house and try to do it, but I got scared and I backed out, and now that company is flourishing and doing well. And I kick myself every day. That's a huge regret right there, every day. But anyway, that's it.
That's it. All right, we'll move on to the next one then. Springtrap. It's from Late Sleeper. You know it's going to be a goofy question when it's coming from that man. He says, Mexican tap water safe to drink? Yes or no?
No. I've been to Mexico numerous times in the last year for the game, because that's where some of the developers are, and even the Mexicans don't drink it. You don't drink tap water in Mexico. It's not good. The filtration system is not where it needs to be.
That's funny.
Right on.
All right, so we got one from Pra, and it's for Claire. Okay, it's for One Hive. Okay, this is a specific question about the whole One Hive family. Jake, if you don't like the question, you want to pass because it brings up, some touchy topics, just let me know. It says, and I am a skimmer. I've been called out on it, so I always mess up with my reading because I don't really actually look at the words. But I'm going to try. In the beginning of the One Hive family, how hard was it to build up, and how did you recruit the best players? And in the beginning, how did you... So that's part one of the question. How did you make One Hive into this powerhouse of a clan from scratch?
Well, One Hive started about, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks after Wars came out. And it's like I said, it was like-minded people. From the get-go, it was a war clan. At that point, people were realizing that their clans that they had been in, that they thought were good clans, were only good because people were active, and that they might not have a clue about attacking. And so when that happened, obviously, again, people went their direction and try to find like-minded people to play the game with, like anybody would. And One Hive was one of those locations. So when I got there, it was about, they were about probably 15 or 20 wars in, and they were undefeated. So the forums were essentially the only way to recruit then. There was nothing. I mean, there was no war channel, YouTube channels. There was no Discord chats, there was nothing like that. It was all done in chat, in game, and on the Supercell forums. So we did have a thread on the forums, but we also got a whole lot of recruits from clans that we warred. When back in those days, when you really put it on somebody, usually you'd have 1 or 2 in the clan that were that mindset of I want more, I want to be competitive. That would message us. They would come over and say, hey, I want to join your clan. This is what I want to be a part of. And so we got a lot of good players that way. But every war, I mean, it was a grind and it was a process. Every war, there was people got kicked out of the clan. Someone inevitably would not do an attack. Someone would bring some ridiculous, farming attack. They got booted, and it was every war for a long time. And you just had to sort of, recruit, get 3 or 4 guys. 1 out of 10 would be a keeper, and the rest you got rid of. And just being diligent and not accepting, those ridiculous applicants. Eventually, it grew into something pretty cool.
Yeah, and it can be tough from the scratch. You have to. But I think the best thing that you said was, you prove that you're a legit clan because you're smacking people in war, and then they have, there are a couple of players that want more. Yeah. They come hitting you up, and can you even do that in the game anymore? I guess you can. You could leave your clan and apply. Yeah, I guess you can still do that now.
Yeah, and back then it was like you wouldn't. A lot of clans didn't even leave their clan closed. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of times our clan was open. You could just come in if you had the trophies, and then once we got a name, it sort of turned into we would always have the clan closed, and we didn't take. Back then you could literally do an in-game application. You could hit, I want to join One Hive, and we would look at your stats and see if we want to take you or not. And that happened, but there come a point pretty early on where it was like, let's shut it down. Let's only do applicants through the forums and things.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, the second part of that question it's not the question I thought it was. It was actually a little redundant, so I'm just going to move on. This one's Springtrap. Do famous content creators manage to spend time with Clash and making vids at the same time? Is the balance you're looking at? So that's a little confusing how that's written, but I guess it's how do you balance your life as a famous content creator? I don't think any of us are famous content creators, but how do you balance life with what you're doing? Jake, you could talk about it as when you were a video creator. You could talk about it as now, you have your job, you have your family, and you have Done Right Games, and you're working towards that. So how do you balance out a passion with real life?
Well, it's always a difficult thing. And the way I took that question was, as you become a content creator, does it impact your actual Clash playing? And the simple answer is absolutely. The more you get into content creating, and I'm sure, Echo, you find yourself just with very little time to just sit down and play like you used to. You're rushing to get attacks in. You're trying to grind some farming out. But the bottom line is it absorbs. That's when I started creating content. I was playing Clash for several hours a night after my wife went to bed, and I was like, hey, I could make some videos while I'm doing this, and then it slowly becomes more and more you're making videos and less playing the game. But it's always hard to balance it. When you add, we all have full lives. Everyone in this chat's got a full life of most of us anyways. If they've got a job, family, they got things to do. And so you try to add something to that. Something's got to give, and it's tough. And sometimes your wife gets pissed, or you realize you're not playing with your kids enough, and you gotta adjust. So it's always a balancing thing that's not easy.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. I'm in the same
boat
too. With I'm always red. I never really jump into wars. Being with the Circle of Clans, which I actually love. I cover 4 clans, and basically every day I'm in a different clan, rotating through, checking out the content, seeing what I can create. And to do wars, it's difficult. And if I do a war, I feel like I'm not giving my best effort because I don't have the time to sit there and plan out my attacks properly. And I'm just not giving my 100%. So I just basically sit out in the wars. If they have a random spin that they don't care about, I'll hop in just for some fun. But like you said, you're creating content. That's number one priority. So the game, I play at 10% as much as I used to when I was starting out. It's
well, and every content. I'm sure Cleric said the same thing. Every content creator said the same thing. It's like, man, I don't get to play much anymore.
My FC time has dropped to slim to none. Really, I get on and I do try to make a legit plan and hit, but I can't just sit there in FC and gear up for the attack. I just got to make a plan because I got other stuff to do. So I got to go do this hit, get it in, and then I got to move on. So I try to get my 2 attacks in. I actually play 2 accounts right now, and I've got a lot more than that, but I just played those 2 in war, and that's all I can handle. I couldn't take on any more than that.
Well, and I don't know if you guys do, but I can remember distinctly, like when especially as the channel started to grow, for probably the first year, I responded to every comment on every video that I ever made. And that, I realized at one point, that was taking more time than the content or the game. It was the response to the things. I did it because I loved it. I loved the feedback, and that's why I feel like I'm in a unique position on this game going forward, because I did take so much time to just listen and communicate and talk and flesh out ideas with people. But it became the point where I was like 4 or 5 hours a day. No exaggeration. 4 or 5 hours a day just responding to comments. And it was like when I had to stop it, it was sad. It was like, that's part of what I was doing, but I just couldn't. How can you spend 4 or 5 hours a day responding to comments?
Yeah, and It's true. I do the same thing. I guess I don't get as many comments as you because I don't spend that much time, but I do try to respond to every single comment, even if it's just with a short response. But I do love going to the comments also. But what I see some of the larger content creators do, the ones that just get ridiculous number, like they leave their comments open, or they respond to their comments for a half hour or an hour. So those first comments that come in, they're responding to give a valiant effort, because it becomes impossible at some point, really, to keep up with the comments. So, but you want to show that you still care.
It's exponential. That's what I put a video out about it, because it's like when you're going along and you're like, okay, I was at 20, 30, 40,000 subs, I would still be able to keep up. But then you think about it. If you're adding at that point, probably close to 100 subs a day, and let's say only 5 of those want to get active in the comment section. Okay, so 5 a day are pretty much commenting on every video. To carry that out for a few months, you can't. It's impossible. You can't keep up.
Yeah, it is impossible.
Great.
But you
Great.
try, and it is nice to see the comments and stuff too, because you can,
Yeah.
better
loved
yourself. And
Yeah.
all right, so we have one coming from Savage. It says, Jake, what do you think about the performances of One Hive in the past few seasons in CWL, and what's your opinion on where the game is heading toward? Have you paid attention to how your clan family's been doing in CWL, or not really?
Well, obviously in season 2, I was totally into it. I mean, I was like, every war, every string. And then season 3, I wasn't as much, but I kept a little idea of what they were doing. And, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Season 3, they were out of it. They weren't having a great season. And then the band waves hit. They get to come back in and make it all the way to the finals again. So yeah, I mean, I keep a little finger on what they're doing. It's not like I'm into every war like I was in season 2, but I like to keep up with them. And I think One Hive is just one of those clans that will always be in the conversation. Are they the best? Not on paper, definitely not. But it's funny because people always, we've had this reputation for a long time, and people give us so much crap, but it seems like the band waves never really affect us. So once the band waves hit, One Hive looks pretty good. And then as things progress, well, One Hive's not that good anymore. And then, another band wave hit. One Hive's looking pretty good again, So that part keeps me proud that hasn't changed from when I first joined. There was ghosting back then. Some people have no idea what ghosting was. But we were anti-ghosting even back then when I was just a recruit. It was something that's never changed. So I'm always proud of One Hive.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And the second part of that question, I mean, I know you're not playing the game, but you hear the directions that it's headed. Do you have any opinion on where it's going towards?
I'm interested to see how season 4 goes because of the change in the Infernal Towers. Just to see what comes up, what hit rates are like, and how all that goes. But in a broader sense, I don't think Clash is going to change drastically the way it would need to for a revival. I don't think anybody that's being objective could say that Clash is not on the downhill. It has been for years. It continues to be, which is normal. That's not nothing. I think they could have done more to keep it going longer. They haven't. I don't feel like that's going to change, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I think it's going to be a lot more of the same.
Okay, cool. We're going to move on to the next question. It's from Boki, and he asks, I don't know if this question is acceptable, but I'd like to know. Okay, so this is the question I didn't know if you'd want to answer, so let us know if you want to. What happened with One Hive and One Hive 2.0? Why are they separated? I know the One Hive 2.0 side story. I want to know the One Hive side. I don't know any of it. I don't know if you want to talk about any of it. Could be a little personal.
No, it's no big deal, but there's no sense trying to go give the backstory because it's long and it's partisan and it's ridiculous. The bottom line is there was people in power at One Hive and people in power at 2.0 that simply did not get along, and it caused a lot of animosity. It caused a lot of he said, she said. It just clashed, and at some point you say, okay, we're hurting each other, we're not helping each other, so that's the way it went. I mean, again, there's a whole backstory about what exactly happened, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line was there was butting heads.
Okay, and you know what? That happens in so many clan families. You get different leaders, and it's just hard to always be on the same page, and sometimes that page is so different. It happens even with a dominant family like One Hive. I mean, it could happen anywhere. So, no, well put. All right, we have Mangus asking, would you rather... Okay, this is a funny one. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? Me, personally, I would beat up all of them. I would probably be able to take on 101 at the same time. But if I had to choose, I'd probably take on the 100... duck-sized horses. They're easier to handle. They wouldn't be able to hit me in the face. I'd just be getting kicked in the shin. I'd wreck them. guys?
Yeah, I think I'd go that route too, man. I think the little small ones, you could do some football punts and stuff. You'd be okay. But you had one come at you like a horse, dude. I mean, he could put some damage with that beak, man. It could be bad.
That beak
So
could
I'm
be bad.
going, yeah, I'm going with the little guys.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I'm actually scared of horses.
Are you
Some
really?
bad experiences with horses,
Okay.
and so they're just too damn big. You can't do anything with them. So a bunch of little horses that look they're the size of ducks, I'm fine with that. It's the size of them when you can't defend yourself, you can't do anything to them. So yeah, I'll go with the little guys for sure.
So now, do you have an issue with ponies, or is it just horses? Ponies are still a big animal.
I've not had any exposure to ponies, to be honest with you.
They're pretty cute.
Yeah, horses, man, they can knock you off. They kick the shit out of you. I had a horse chase me across the field. I don't even know why. Like I was going fishing, and I was trying to go across the field, and so like I start walking. The horse, he's like 200 yards away. He starts coming towards me. So I don't even care. But as I started, going across the field, he starts speeding up, and so I start speeding up, and just kind of like, what's this dude doing? And long story short, we both get into a full-blown sprint, and of course the horse is gaining ground quickly, and like just as I get to the freaking fence, this gate, I jump over it, and this horse, I think he would have killed me. No reason. This horse is just insane. So I don't like horses. I don't want to duck the size of a horse chasing me either. I mean, yeah,
No.
the little ones.
That's funny.
Nah. I've had some bad horse experience too, man. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is, man, but
I don't like 'em.
horses, they're big, and maybe they can sense fear. I don't know, but
Well,
maybe
scared.
and
course you were.
I could have been too. I've rode horses. A friend of mine's got some horses, and we went out back and rode them, and like, I don't know. I've had, like where the horse don't want to mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to stop it, and the
Yeah, what are
head's
you gonna
turned
do?
all like that, and it's still going forward just as fast as it could go, and it's like,
They do what they want. They're like that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You can't do anything.
yeah,
I don't like that.
nothing.
They can do what they want. That's why, because they're massive.
Yeah.
They do what
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, for
I
sure.
grew up with horses. We had horses at my house, and they were cool. They were friendly. Never anything aggressive, but
Yeah.
all right. Back to our questions. I got to pull them up. I lost them there.
Uh-oh.
There's a second part to that question from Mangus. It says, how do you keep going while TWC was at its peak and harassing you? Sorry.
Is that to me?
Yeah.
The harassment did get pretty bad at one point, but I guess just being, I don't know, I'm grown. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. There you go.
kids bothering me on the internet, like I've been through worse things in my life, so that was never a big deal. I had people call in the house, call in the office. I think they knew that I wasn't really scared of them. I think they knew that. The harassment was just never a big deal to me. I didn't care. I mean, I just sort of focused on my deal, focused on the game, which I really loved then, and just went on. So
Okay, cool. Max asks, what's been your biggest challenge in production? Talking to you, Jake. And or what became much more of a challenge than you expected? So with your game, anything that's been more difficult than you thought?
the difficult part for me on the new game, on developing the game, is my lack of knowledge. If I had came from a computer developer, computer science background, engineer background, to where when these people are talking, I mean, it's like they're speaking Greek. I don't know what they're saying. They have to break it down into real dummy terms for me.
Yeah.
And so that's, for me, the biggest challenge, no question. What's the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
The second part was, has there been something that's been more difficult than you expected?
Not yet. I figure that's coming.
Okay.
I think for me, the fundraising is going to be difficult because for a guy from a small town, the type of money that has to be raised to make a game is a staggering amount, and in the scheme of things, it's not. It's really not. But in my mind, it is. So you're talking about $100 billion industry with a B, the gaming industry. So to raise funds to make a mobile game is insignificant, but it's hard for me to get past the zeros. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Now I got a question on that. I'm just kind of curious. If you knew then what you know now, would you still try to make this game?
Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Here's where I'm at, and the best way I can answer it is I always knew if someone walked up to me and said, even a year or two ago, before this was a thing with an idea, and said, "Hey, I'm going to back you. I like all your ideas. I'm going to write the check. You make the game." There was never been a doubt in my mind that the game would be successful. I don't know why I've got that faith. Too many people have told me, "I love that idea, dude. I wish God, hire Jake Supercell, blah blah blah." Too many times I've heard the same thing, to not have that confidence. But I guess I thought it could be done for less, and I'm finding out that it can't. But I'm also finding out that it's not a lot of money in the scheme of things. So it's kind of a weird conundrum. I hope I still would, but I don't know.
I think you're determined. I think that's one thing we can say about you.
Yeah, I mean, I again, the confidence is there of if some computer guy can put what's in my brain onto an iPad, and someone will write the check to pay that person for the time that it takes to do it, I feel like everybody makes a lot of money because it's gonna be a popular game because I'm not making it to make money, just like I didn't make videos to make money. It's not about that. It's about the void, this massive void in mobile gaming. All mobile gaming is, in my opinion, for the most part, with a few exceptions, and Clashes happens to be one of those exceptions, is churning out some dog shit and marketing it. And that's the bottom line. It's a marketing thing. It's not about making a good game and then trying to get it to grow. The reason Clash got as big as it did is because it was a good game. It was the best game out there. But since then, it's like everyone's just like, oh, let's just make crap and put some good ads on TV and we'll make a lot of money. And they have for the most part. There's been a lot of, it's the mobile market is $30-something billion a year. That's a lot of money. And a lot of the games, I think you guys would agree, are just awful. So my thing was, well, why can't you make a great game and then the rest of that stuff will take care of itself? And I think it will.
I gotta say, man, I seen one of your videos, kind of an update video recently about one of the features in your game, and it definitely piqued my interest where you're talking about in-game communications by voice. I thought that was pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
Well, like I said, the goal here is to do, there's a reason we said done right, because I really, truly want to take every aspect of it, whether it be the chat, something simple like that. Like you look at Clash of Clans or other games that I've played, and you look at the chat and you're like, man, this is lacking. This is just lacking in what we would want it to do if you had your choice of how it would work. And so everything like that, we want to put in there if we can, when we can, and just continue to make every aspect of it better, whether it be the chat or possibly a voice, to give that feature so you don't have to log on to Discord or something else. We don't see the reason not to, I guess, is where we're at.
And a couple of friends of mine, we had a conversation about this. Matter of fact, today, and we were talking about the in-game feature, and they seem to think, they brought it to my attention. They seem to think that it's going to create, I guess, the ability to progress faster than they did initially in Clash. Because like, I guess in war, when you're trying to type out things, it's not quite as easy. I do know we have other apps such as Discord and things like that to voice now, but some people find those intimidating to learn. There's a little bit of a learning curve. And if it's in the game, it's a little bit easier. It's just in the game.
Yeah, it's a strange thing you say that, because when I started the channel, there was nobody we heard about it a little bit, but no clan that I was part of or knew about used these other apps. And when I was trying to explain to someone how to do a dragon attack at Town Hall 7, I mean, it was in the chat of the game. Everyone else is talking, it's like impossible. It's just this terrible thing. So like you said, voice was such a big thing when people would start getting onto voice, because you can talk about in 5 minutes what will take you an hour to try to type out, and it's still not as clear. So we want to give people, like you said, that people will learn. They'll get to know each other better. The social part of it will be there. There's a million reasons to do it. It's just this, and that's one of the reasons that the video started coming out. The dragon video, the first how-to video I ever did, was because we got sick of explaining to every new recruit how to do a dragon attack, because dragons were it back then. So finally, it was like, dude, let's make a video, and that way we can just send them to the video. And of course, other clans did the exact same thing, which was unexpected, but it worked.
Smart. I think every YouTuber does that, man. They start out wanting to make videos for their clan to help them progress. That's what I did. I'm sure you did the same, Echo, and it sounds like you did the same. I mean, ultimately, our viewers were our own clan.
Yeah.
You'd get 30 views a video and call it a day.
That was that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So I have a nice in-depth question here from Nedster from Divine Justice. It's a long one, so I'm going to break it down into parts for us. The first one is for Jake. What experiences or lack of them are you bringing to your game for example, clan war type battles, and are you incorporating any modes that you've suggested to Supercell in the past? So we all know that you had ideas for Supercell, and they maybe took some of them, they maybe didn't take others. Are you incorporating the stuff that you presented to them in your game?
Yes, but there's also things that I've never gave them, and I'm glad I didn't. Not that they would took it, because most of my stuff they were not open to. But I will say that Clash did put some good things in that I suggested in the game, and there'll be those things in there as well. But the one thing that I think Clash never really grasped, that I tried to hammer home, and no matter how many videos I did and how many suggestions I gave them, it was always the same. It never wavered. Is game modes. The way I always explained it is that our bases, our heroes, our troops, they are our trophies. We worked on them for years. We spent hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars on them. This is something that we're very vested.
Uh-oh, did we lose him right there?
I guess we did.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll wait for him to come back. Hopefully he can. And we'll just get on with things. At least we still have his beautiful face there on the screen. Hopefully he can hear the stream and we could disconnect or whatnot. I never had a Skype issue yet so far.
I haven't either, yeah.
All right, so let's go into the next one. Do you guys like ice hockey? So, Goon, why don't you take that question? Okay, he dropped. We're going to get him back in here in a second, hopefully.
Ice hockey? What's that? No, I'm just kidding. Guys, I am not a sports guy, like not in the least. Like I like, I kind of coming up, I watched a little bit of sports, more college sports than pro. As I got older, I just got into skateboarding and things like that. I've done that type of stuff. I might watch the X Games from time to time, but literally now as an adult, I just have zero to no interest in sports. And to be honest, I don't have enough time to really just sink into that. I'd rather watch a really good movie. I'm a movie guy, that's for sure. Or play the PS4 from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I don't watch ice hockey or anything like that at all. I don't even see Jake online right now, so I don't know how we're going to get him back in here. I don't know how this is going to work, but we are going to definitely just try. Keep on moving along with the questions. And it's perfect that we have a question from Max right here for Echo and Goon. What goes into the decision-making process for who the guest is each week on the show? I guess I'll answer that. Well, that's it.
Go ahead, man, because I mean, I don't know that there's a particular algorithm, but go ahead, Echo.
Yeah, there isn't an algorithm. I mean, we all know people. So as far as Jake goes, he joined back up. That's good. Let's see what guys can.
My bad. I don't know when y'all lost me, but
you were saying vested, but it's okay.
Do you have a cam going or no now, brother?
Yeah, should be good. Should be all good. I don't know. You lost me, anyways. I was talking about the fact that we've put so much into these, right? Into these troops and heroes and bases and all that. Was that where you lost me?
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Okay, and to me, I told them, give us more game modes, give us more ways to take those trophies off the shelf and to enjoy them. And that's why I thought the Builder Hall was such a big miss. They could have done it. They tried to do it, but then they just started over. They didn't let us play with our trophies. They said, here, build a new trophy, and you can play with it. So from day one, Done Right wants to make it to where you have more ways to do it. You have more ways to enjoy it, regardless of what your play style or what your passion is, whether it be not so competitive or competitive like I always enjoyed.
Gotcha.
Nice.
All right. So let's get back to our question for Echo and Goon. Decision-making process on guests is basically, guys, just who we know, who's interested in coming to the show, what topics we want to get into. So, example, this week, Jake from One Hive and Goon had contact before I ever did, so we basically hooked that up, and we're able to get them in here together, which worked out great. Other weeks, ask friends to come, people that we know from the community. Remember, at the end of tonight's show, we are announcing who's going to be on next week's show. It's a pretty big one. It's exciting. We haven't told really anyone yet, so we'll be telling you guys at the end of the show for that. And I wish I could get Jake's face. Are you seeing Jake's face on Skype right now, Goon, or no?
No, I'm not, but I'm seeing him on stream. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
If you can get that cam going, we'll go with it. At least we got your voice, though. It's better than nothing, so we'll keep that for right now. And I'm going to continue on with the questions. The second part of that question from Nedster was question 2 to all three of you.
There you go.
There we go. Cool.
There we go.
Now I'll work that out in a second. To all three of you, what person that you've got to know through Clash, whether it's by meeting them or talking to them, would you like to take on a desert islands with you? It can be a content creator or a clan member. Oh, only clan members and content creators. That narrows things down a little bit right there.
Oh, okay. So theoretically, we would have to do it through our clan or content creators, right? Is that the criteria?
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say this. For me, and I told Echo, I'd have to have me a lady on the island with me, man. It's, I'm just a dude, man. Sexy times got to happen. So, I'd rather have a lady with me and maybe possibly, have a moment there. But I hate to name any names because it'd be kind of weird. I hate that part. I mean, because, but this is all hypothetical. But yeah, I don't know about that one. You guys want to take this? I'm in a hot seat here.
Well, I don't mind talking about it, but is it like, okay, first of all, I would assume my wife's excluded, even though she played Clash.
Right.
That's not a possibility. But
It's a safe answer, though.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, then I would choose that. But if that's excluded, then yeah, I'm not. I mean, as much as I like let's say Clash with Ash, I'm not wanting to hang out with that dude on a desert island forever. I mean, I'm thinking like Lady B or K Girl. I'm sorry, I'm just throwing it out there.
That's what I'm talking about, right there. Boom.
Just trying to be honest. You know what I mean? You guys brought me on here. I'm gonna be honest.
And you should be. And you should be. All right, shall we move on to the next question?
Oh, you didn't answer.
I was trying to skip away that. I was trying to skip away.
Dude,
it's like I sometimes try and dodge questions.
I got you, man.
Well, my person isn't a clan member. It's not a clan mate, but it is a new clasher. She does have an account in Clash of Clans, and I did meet her because of YouTube and Clash of Clans and all that stuff. So it is all connected in some way, and that's Gamma Lauren or Lauren Nicole. She's in the chat right now. I wouldn't mind spending some time with her on an island.
There you go.
She's better looking than Clash with Ash, so that would be
hypothetically,
my
of course.
Of course, it would be hypothetical. I mean, it's who is ever stuck in a desert island anymore with modern technology, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so. Okay, so we got that done. We're going to move on. We're getting towards the end of these questions right now. I have one from Iridium, and he asks, how well do you think goblins affect cleanup in war raids? If you take goblins for cleanup, basically how many do you take? So goblins for cleanup, good or bad?
I'm good with that. I've used them before, but I typically like to take minions, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the base. Walls. If you've got, lots of collectors and storages on the outside, yeah, it makes perfect sense. If not, they're worthless.
And the amount that you take is a little bit of camp space you have left over. Nothing.
Yeah.
There's no real, strategic way to put how many goblins you're going to take for cleanup, basically, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 or 3, troop space left, and there's some storages on the outside. They're trying to defend one section or something like that. Slow you down. Boom, perfect. Throw them in there.
Gotcha. Still one of the last things you'll upgrade in your lab?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Lucky69 asks, what do you think will be the future of builder base? Okay, good question here. And do you think that it'll have war games between clans like regular Clash of Clans? So do you think that builder's base is going to go strong, live on, or I mean, it's not going to be taken out of the game. They invested in that. It's going to be part of Clash of Clans, right?
Yeah, I don't want them to take it out of the game, to be honest. I mean, I'll be honest though. I mean, when that update came out, it was so hyped, and I had no idea what it was. And I must admit, I was disappointed. I wasn't like feeling it. But now, playing the game, it can be useful. I mean, if you're farming, while an army's building, you can flop over there, do a couple of battles on builder base, flop back, army's ready, boom, go raid, flop back over here, wait for the army. You could play like that, and I think if you use it for the right reasons, or when a war army's building, same thing, just flop over there, do some builder base raids. I think if you use it for a distraction from your main base, I think it's good. I don't think it was. I mean, I would have much rather had main village things, more different of troops, things like that. But I mean, at the end, I mean, now I appreciate it more than I did at the time of release, I guess is how we would say that.
Okay. How about you, Jake? You've gotten your hands on it?
Yeah, no, I think that. I mean, I played the builder base a lot when it came out, and I think it had. Even though I called it a huge miss, which I still stand by, it was a huge miss, and I want to touch on that in a second. I think that it had potential because they could have done things like, friendly challenges or wars based on the builder hall that had been fast paced, maybe 5v5, 10v10, something in those things that would have been fun. They haven't done it. They may, and it may still be fun. The problem is, and just what Cleric was talking about. What if there was a game, some mythical game, to where there was always something to do, sort of like what you're talking about. You don't have to jump over to some builder base that you really don't care about, that's really sort of a distraction from what you do care about, but that there was always something, different game modes, different ways to play a game to where you weren't bored. Even if you were, you got to have some breaks on a game like Clash to where you can't progress too fast. I mean, that's just the reality of it. You can't just leave it open to instant progression. Someone will finish it in a few days, and then they got nothing to come back to your game for. But what if this magical game had other things that you could do while your farming capacity was down, or that you weren't in a war at that particular time? There were still yet more ways to play the game that did benefit you and made it fun. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome?
That sounds magical to me, Jake.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd like to get my hands on a game like that, man.
Who knows? Maybe someday some game like that will come out.
Maybe somebody will come out with something like that. All right.
Is there a name for this mythical game yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
a name's tough. It's something that people have asked me about since I first said I was going to make a game. And a name's tough, man. It means a lot.
Yeah.
It's like it's got to be like when you hear it, it's got to sound good. And I just haven't heard it yet.
So it's not ready, and that's fine. You got to wait.
Yeah.
All right, we have Cole Kingdom asking, I have a second question for the Spring Trap. Not sure that we even got to his first one yet. What makes you guys want to start a talk show, Goon and me, and that have different people come on to it? You want to take that one, Goon, or you want me?
I think me and Echo wanted to do something different at the time. We wanted to do something that would be apart from our normal content. And me and him kind of went back and forth on some ideas, some mine, some his, but the Spring Trap was born out of that. And I like it. I think it's a unique show, and I really enjoy it, and I hope you guys do. And I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I don't know if there's a real answer to that. But I think the basic answer was we just wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something different, and we enjoy this game, but we enjoy other games. We enjoy different stuff. I mean, we have and you guys are the same. Everybody out there, there might be some people that play PS4, Xbox, computer, besides Clash of Clans. And so, the Spring Trap gives us a platform to where we can discuss that. We can also discuss cock, of course, but we can discuss other things, and that is the reason, I guess. Does
Yeah,
that sound right?
it does, and it came to be because Goon and I would always end up being on the phone, talking about YouTube, talking about Clash of Clans, and just enjoying each other. Obviously, he did more talking in those calls than I did because you are starting. We're 9 episodes into the Spring Trap right now. You guys do, especially towards the end of the episodes, really get to see that he does enjoy speaking a lot. But we decided that we wanted to do something casual, fun, with a Clash element, but not all clashes. Bring something different to what we do, and just have a casual time about it. And that's what we come into every episode of the Spring Trap with, that, whoever our guest is going to be, it's laid back. We're talking about whatever comes in, and it's just a fun time. There's not much prep besides organizing the questions that people have. And it's just a bunch of guys, or guys and girls, hanging out just like we're all in a living room having drinks together and talking about topics. And it's a lot of fun. It's maybe my favorite thing to do on the channel right now. I'm loving doing it. I'm loving bringing in guests. And the reason that we had guests, well, we actually were going to start out with three hosts every week and then bring in a fourth guest. That host was going to be Clashing Duke. He was part of, me, Duke, and Goon are, buddies for a while. But he couldn't commit to the weekly thing. So then we thought of the idea, it's even better, to have a guest come every week, a different personality that brings something different to the conversation. And you're seeing a great example of that right now. Just speaking to Jake, he brings a whole different topic than what we had, when we had our guest last week. It's just completely different discussion. And it's cool. It's cool to be able to hang out with other people. I mean, as the chat rolls, I'm making lists of people that I want to bring on the show in the future. It's just a ton of fun. Really, the Spring Trap is about fun. It's about taking questions that are completely random about mini horses, talking about unicorns in the woods, talking about Clash attacks, really anything, guys. So
The
we love
reason
the
that
Spring
it
Trap
usually
because
works so
what's
well
that?
is that the reason it works so well is that shows like this is that normally people that we all play Clash, obviously, or have played Clash. So there's some common interest. You've got some personality traits that are similar. You enjoy some of the same things. So just like you said, chilling, having a few drinks, and just talking usually flows pretty good. And we all are interested in sort of the same stuff, so it's nice.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
we have a common ground that we're starting off with, and then we get into other stuff as well. Yep.
Right.
Exactly. All right. So the next question, it's from Wants to Look Like JJ. Here's another one of those random ones like we were just talking about. This is a long one. I'm just going to read through the whole thing. Would you eat human meat? What if it was artificially grown human meat in a lab made by human NDA? So it's like a clone, I guess you would say. What if you didn't have to kill anyone, but someone died and it was all you wanted? You had to cook it up, serve it in the restaurant. That's what it's saying here. If a chef served it in the restaurant, they'd be told it was now dead human flesh. Basically, would you eat human meat? I guess we could talk about it in two different ways. One way, for enjoyment, you go to a restaurant and you're going to order the the human flesh, or the human steak, I guess is a better way of putting it. Or if you were stranded and you were going to die without it. So
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's no way I would ever sit down in a restaurant and order human meat. But if I was dying and there was some human meat, I would eat it. But no, I would never sit down and say, I'm going to try the Adam. Give me some of that.
I want my human meat with gravy on the side, please, and medium well. Medium well. Thank you.
rare,
I just kidding. Yeah, I'm with Jake on that. Like that's a question there. That is definitely a Spring Trap question. Obviously grown in a lab would be a little bit more appealing. It's still gross.
Still a person, man. Science is still a person.
Yeah, a little bit more appealing, but yet it's just but I mean, if you were on a crashed in a plane or something, and some people passed away in the crash and you didn't have any food, maybe you would look into doing that. People's done it in the past, but it's still awful. I mean, I think something like that would scar you for life, for sure, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
even if you had to eat it, it would still hurt. It would sit. Yeah. So I agree with you
yeah.
guys completely. So that question is from Who Wants to Look Like JJ. I don't know anything more on a name than that, but definitely a weird question, and that's why this is the Springtrap, guys. All right, the next question. Oh, good question. Why don't you include Discord screenshots onto your streams like I do the Twitter ones? Reason being, I got literally 50 questions from Discord every time that I add, and what he's talking about right here is, when I have a question from Twitter, I crop it, I get it into here. I get so many questions from Discord.
Be right back. Gotta pee.
Go do your thing.
All
What
right
I
on.
usually am going to do is throw the Twitter ones up there until they become overwhelming as well. Then I may not throw them up anymore. What's up, Clash Bashing? How you doing, brother? Thanks for coming.
Bash is in the house.
That's really the only reason. It's just time consuming to set all that up, and the more questions you get, maybe I'll start pulling out key questions, ones that I think are great, and maybe leaving screenshots of those up there. Really, it's not that I have a favoritism towards Twitter or towards Discord, but it's just how it started. Honestly, the Springtrap started, and we didn't have a Springtrap room on Discord, so all the questions came either on stream or on Twitter. So that's where it started, and then Discord was only implemented about 2 weeks ago, and it's been great.
Yeah. And guys, look, that another thing. In the link of mine and Echo's videos, there's a link to the Circle of Clans. It's open to the public. So if you want to join, you can go right to that Circle of Clans Springtrap room, which is open to the public, and you can ask your question there. Or if you're on Twitter, you can hashtag me or at me and Echo and hashtag Springtrap and ask the question there, or just piggyback the actual the post with the up and coming guest. You can do it that way as well. But ultimately, it just depends on what app you're on the most. If you're on Twitter or if you're on Discord, either way, we have an avenue for you to use to ask questions.
Of course, he washed his hands. And
no, I did not wash my hands because one, there's no time. No. And two, because I don't understand the fascination with someone washing their hands when they take a piss. It's not like I pissed on my hands. I mean,
Jake, we're going to lose viewers now. People are going to leave the stream because of that.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I'll look, if I'm about to eat some dinner, I guess I get it. But I'm sitting here drinking a beer, going to go to bed after this. I didn't piss on my hands. I'm not going to put my hands in my mouth. So why do I need to wash them?
Lady B is not going to touch you on that island now.
She wouldn't get over it. She would get over it.
She'd have to because you're the only one there, right? Oh
man.
I love your honesty, man. That's funny.
Sorry. I'm a country boy. Most of the time I pee outside, and there's not a sink out there. So how am I going to wash my hands?
That's true. That's different, though. I'm a hand washer myself, but if I was outside, I guess I wouldn't be able to. So
exactly.
See, I think I asked the best Springtrap question, or whoever said that.
That was a fair question, and I've had it been asked before. I'm always honest about it. I'll tell you if I do. I mean, if I take a deuce, okay, we're more into the hand washing zone. Taking a piss, no, I'm sorry, it's not necessary.
I don't think there's an option when you take a deuce, though, man. It has to happen.
Yeah, it has to happen.
I'm with you there. I took a quick pee.
Lady B will teach you how to use the ocean to wash your hands, Jake.
I would wade out in the ocean. If me and Lady B were on the desert island and she wanted me to wade out in the ocean to pee, I'm in. I'll do it.
Okay. You make sacrifices for her, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go waist deep and then come back in. That way there's no hand contact. What are you going to wash? You know what I mean?
Oh, you're going to pee right in the ocean. Okay.
Yeah, no, like just let it float out.
Yeah. In the ocean on the desert island.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
All right, so we're getting into the questions from the chat now. I've been copy-pasting questions for about, I don't know, half hour or so. And I have about 8 or 10 of them. If you guys have any questions, now's the best time to throw them into the chat. We'll get to them as they come, or I'll throw them on my list. And once all these questions are done, guys, that's going to be the end of the Springtrap, besides announcing who our guest is going to be next week, which is a pretty lit thing. So the next one is from Lonnie. I got into it before, and I didn't continue with the question, but she or he, I'm not sure, asks, any legal issues from Supercell with the new game? And that also may be a question that I don't know if you want to answer.
Zero. I mean, unless they can sue for making a base building game, which I highly doubt it, no. There'll be no copying. There'll be, like I said, the similarities will stop that it's a base building game where you level up and attack each other. So I don't think that's a copyrighted situation. No heroes the same, no troops the same. Totally different concept, totally different game. Just no, zero concerns.
So you don't even anticipate anything coming forward.
No.
That's great. Good.
No.
Good. Glad to hear it. The Devil COC, he's been asking for me to ask this question literally since the beginning of the stream. It's a question to all of us. Which are your top 3 concepts of upgrade that should be brought to Clash of Clans?
I don't fully understand the question. Concept of upgrades for like
Which are the top 3 concept of upgrade that you'd... So I guess...
improvements on the game?
You know how YouTubers will put out those videos like concept troops or concept defenses, things like that? I'm assuming that's what he's talking about there. Are there any concepts that you would like to see brought to Clash of Clans? Or maybe that's just giving away the things that you're bringing to your game, because if you thought they were good, that's where you'd put them.
If you're talking about the way you worded it there, and maybe that's the way he meant it, I've never spent much mental energy trying to think about what I wanted the next troop to be in Clash or something like that. I just thought it was an act of futility. So I'll sort of let you guys take that. I really don't have a good answer because I just never really was like, oh, here's what I want. It was more of the way the game was played or feature of the game more so than a troop or a defense. I just never spent the time to think about it.
Okay. For me, I don't care. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm not okay, Town Hall 12. We all know Town Hall 12 is going to come. I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, I can't wait for this defense. I want this new defense to be there or this new hero to be there. To be honest, I don't know that I want a new hero at Town Hall 12. That's going to be 4 heroes to deal with. I don't know that I want a new hero. Maybe a new troop available, but a hero seems like a lot. It's a little bit off topic, but so I guess like Jake, I'm going to take what they got and go with it and hopefully enjoy it, but I'm not sitting here thinking and suggesting to Supercell an idea for a troop or anything like that.
Right.
Same?
I'm with you on that. The same. If you look at, I think we talked about this maybe last episode or one before that. I think if they follow their pattern, I don't think we'll get an extra troop at 12 because it seemed like I think we talked after 8. It was like, or after 7, I think you got the king, and then at 8 you got nothing. 9 you got the queen, and then 10 you got nothing, and 11 you got the Grand Warden. So at 12 we should get nothing. As far as you're going to get an exclusive troop. I mean, bowlers came with 11 or 10. They came with 10, right? Yeah. Oh, well, I guess they kind of. I guess.
Speaking of, wouldn't it be awesome if it was a game where you didn't have to when someone downloads the game today and they look at it and they think, man, the Grand Warden's really cool, but I have to be Town Hall 11 to get that, and that would take me about 2 years, really hard playing, or 3 years maybe. Wouldn't it be cool if you got the troops way earlier, like right out of the gates, and they just leveled up with you? That'd be cool, huh?
You know what, Jake? I'd like to play that game. That sounds cool. That's a cool concept.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Lady B said, what if you got a 4th troop and you had to sit one? So out of your 4, I mean, not a troop, a new hero, and you had to sit one. So you can go in with 3 troops or 3 heroes, but you had to choose which one would sit. Not a bad idea. I don't know if I'd love that, though. I'd rather just not have
it. It does create an interesting dynamic, though, to actually choose on the particular base that you hit if you let one sit out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I dig that.
Yeah, but really the whole time. So let's say you go to Town Hall 12. Heroes are going to go, I don't know, this is just guesses here, 60, 60, 30. So let's say the heroes go up to that. So you're going to upgrade your heroes that are already strong. You're going to get a brand new hero that's at 0 or 1, I should say, when you get it. It's going to be your weakest hero. It's going to be on the bench until it's maxed out with the rest of your heroes, or at least up to par. So it's going to be so long, unless if you gem your way. Even if not, if it can go up to level 10 or level 20 like the Grand Warden, you're talking 20 weeks of constant upgrade, half a year to get there if you don't gem. I don't know. Not a bad idea. Thoughts, right? Who knows? I know nothing. I really don't. All right. So we have, okay. This is for you, Jake, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer. It's from Mackerel. Are you coming back to Clash of Clans again? I was never in One Hive, but I was part of the Boom Beach One Hive. I didn't even know there was one.
No.
So
my focus is 100% on the game, and I don't have time for it, nor really the desire to come back to Clash. So short answer is no.
Okay, that's the only answer we
Let
need.
me ask you this. Okay, so when this game launches, Jake, are you coming back as a content creator for this game?
I don't know that it will be like, okay, yes and no. I don't know that it will be like it was with Clash to where I'm like, how-to videos and all that, but I absolutely want to be involved in the community and playing the game and listening to, again, just same way I did before, the feedback, the what people like about the game, what they want to change, what they enjoy, and being accessible. You know what I mean? I felt like for so long, and maybe it has gotten, well, not maybe, it's gotten better, that we had the complaint of Supercell was not accessible. They weren't someone that you could say, hey, here's what I like about this game, here's what I don't. So even me maybe jumping on and streaming occasionally, playing the game and listening to people directly, I will do. There's no question. Because I want that feedback. I want that, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. Again, I want to treat my game the exact same way I have other games that I've played, as being critical of it and what could be improved upon and things like that. So why would I approach it any differently?
Cool.
Okay. Demon Apocalypse asks, is the social part of Clash of Clans more fun than the game itself?
I think for a long time it has been. Maybe not initially, but I think almost anyone that played the game for years will tell you the reason they stay is because of the people that they've met in the social part of the game, more so than the game itself. I think for a lot of people, the game has long stopped being as fun as it was. I guess that's the nice way to say it.
For me, I don't know. I've had max accounts for a while. I do have an 11 I'm grinding, but I've been a perma 9 with 2 accounts for a while, and for me, it's just about learning different attacks to 3-star with, and that part has kept me kind of, I guess, dialed in. I hadn't got burnt out yet. I mean, but I'm still shuffling or jostling the channel and doing this. So I mean, I don't know. I hadn't burnt out yet. But now I don't base build all the time either. Like, I'm pretty. I know that is a grind of league play. I don't base build at all. Any team that has me, like you could go through some wars and probably find one of my bases that I still run. Using. So yeah, I'm bad about that. I don't base build that much.
Next question is from Late Sleeper. He says, Jake, did the hurricanes this year that hit the Gulf mess up the time schedule on development?
No, actually, it was funny that you mentioned that because I asked Bato about it. Like, there was one that was like supposed to just direct hit Cancun. Like, the news was talking about it. It was all this stuff, and I messaged him. I was like, dude, y'all all right? He's like, it didn't even rain. It's like, I don't know what happened, but no, they're in Cancun, and the weather has been not bad at all there. So luckily, they were avoided for the most part.
Good. And guys, we have 3 more questions left. It doesn't look like anything else is coming in. So if I don't get anything after this, we'll close off the show. So if you have anything, get it in now. This next one's from Brian. He says, Jake, if Miss J is or... Okay, I have to kind of translate a little bit. Is Miss Jake, so is your wife still playing Clash of Clans, or did she also quit?
No, yeah, she quit. She did play longer. When I retired, I really put things down. Like, I put the iPad down. I was playing. I didn't play Vainglory, which I was playing at the time. Like, I set it all down. Mm-hmm. And she played longer than I did. She played for a while after that, but during that 8 months or so, she did retire as well and quit. And she's never came back to it really. So, no, she's done.
Gotcha. Gaming with Guns. Hey, Jake, do you agree that there should be a reward or incentive to get the lower town halls out of lower leagues?
Well, I think the game should inherently be more fun because good question. Here's how I look at it at a game like Clash of Clans. When you start out the game, it should be incredibly simple. Anyone can do it. From a 10-year-old, anyone can pick it up and fully understand how to play the game, sort of the concept of the game. I think simplicity is overlooked a lot of times, that a lot of game developers make games overly complex, and it kills that initial startup where you feel so confused. You're like, what is this? And how do I do this? And it's a mistake in my mind. So I think simplicity early on in the game like that is good. But as you learn the game should inherently be more fun as it gets a little more complex because you have more options and you have more things that what was once difficult or hard to understand is now something that you do without even really thinking about it. So you should want to add more to your bag of tools, which should come with leveling up. I hope that makes sense. That's how I picture a game progression going, which people will just naturally want to go. What the problem with Clash is that it was a clear line. Town Hall 9 at one point was beautiful and it was balanced and it was amazing. And there was a distinct step off a cliff after you got past Town Hall 9 to where it no longer was fun. It was broken and it never got fixed. And some could even argue to this day has never been fixed. But let's say that even if the latest update did fix it, it took them years. So I feel like a game that's balanced correctly, that progression is set up correctly, people will want to. You won't have to force them to or incentivize them to. The fact that the game gets better as you go will be its own incentive. Hope that makes sense.
It does. All right, time to Clash.
Hey, what's up, Coro, by the way? He's been saying hi, and I have seen you, buddy. What's up? Long time, old school follower and supporter. Thank you for all the support, bro.
There you go. We got Time to Clash. I'm not sure if he's still in here. He was in here earlier, though. He asked a question for all three of us, not including your clans you're in or have been in. What clan family setup would you most like to be part of and why? So not including One Hive, not including the circle of clans. What clan setup would you want to be most part of and why? I know for a while, I mean, I started off with the Bada Bing clan, and they got me into the competitive scene. Not that I competed myself, but they brought me into it. And I was with them for, I think it was a year. And then when they stopped being competitive, I came over to the circle, which was a really sad time because literally for a year, I created Bada Bing clan content every single day. And I loved it. I loved the people. I loved the attacks that they were using. It was just great. So that sad time led for me to come to the Circle of Clans where I've met so many more people. I mean, it's a 14 or 15 clan family. I'm in charge of 4 of them exclusively, and it's been great. So I love the way that the Circle is set up. I don't know how other clan families run things to say that, but I know that, I don't know if I'm going to get hate for it or not, but I know that for a while, like, just at some point in there, I always wanted to kind of go and like be part of War Whales. I thought they were pretty cool. I mean, everyone wants to be part of One Hive. You're one of the top names in the game. But, again, I'm a content creator going there. It's not like I'd be there being a competitive person. I'm not on that level, or I don't have time to put into being on that level. I'm sure I could be if I did, but I don't. So War Whales is probably the one that I'm going to say, because I'm not going to sit here and kiss Jake's butt saying that it's One Hive, although they did have a lot of respect from me. So, yeah, that's my answer. Jake? Goon?
Man, I'm still thinking. Go ahead, Cleric. I don't know.
It's a hard one.
For me, I'm in a lot of Discords, man, and I've seen a lot of different communities, and this was really hard, because like I said, the circle, I shaped it in, and my admins and people in the early days into what we really wanted. But I've had the fortunate, I guess. I'm fortunate enough to be in a lot of different Discords, and so I've seen a ton of different communities. And I gotta say, right now, one of the more unique communities, and it's not. I mean, it's. I'm still learning. I'm still learning about their community, but they invited me in. Is the Elevate Your Game community, and they're a large community, just like the Circle. They've got almost 1,000 people inside their server, and they're not known for like. The exclusive war scene, but as far as the social aspect, and that's something I really appreciate. I appreciate the social aspect, and that's what we talked about the tie that keeps us in Clash is the social aspect. So I gotta give hats off to their community. It's pretty fun. But I know a lot of great clans, but I know a lot of great single clans. Like I'm in a lot of servers with just a single clan, not necessarily a family. So I had to think about the families.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, it was. And I think the guys over in UWA would be a close second. I think that's the Terps Win Big and what's the other ones in their family? But I know the Terps, but they've got a couple couple of more well-known clans, but they got a good family too. But that's what comes to mind right away.
I don't know that I have a good answer for this. I've always known for a long time that if One Hive ever fell apart, or if anything like that happened, that the leadership got corrupted and it went modding, or anything like that, that I would quit the game from a very early stage. So I don't have an there's lots of good families out there that I think would have been fun to be in, but none of them stand out like that's the one I had my plan B or anything like that. I don't have it. So it's like it was One Hive ride or die, and when it was over, it was just going to be over. So I hate to dodge a question, but I guess I have to. I don't have a good answer.
So what he's saying is there's no clan as good as One Hive. That's basically what he's saying. It's either
Basically
One Hive or
what I'm
nothing.
saying.
Everyone else sucks.
Dude. Yeah,
Straight
I
out
got
of Jake.
the One Hive B right there.
Represent.
Still representing. Yeah. Now, I have a question, just completely off topic. Is there going to be a One Hive? Is One Hive going to represent in your game?
I would imagine there's going to be a One Hive. Now, I don't know if I'll go as far as to like lock it down, and maybe I will. I don't know. Yeah, there'll be a One Hive.
There will be a One Hive,
no doubt. Yeah.
So it's gonna have a clan aspect into it, and not just be singular. So
for sure. No, there's no question. Look, and I'll even go as far as to say there will be wars. There will be my clan versus your clan, or guild, or whatever. I don't know what we'll call it yet. But group versus group. Now, it will be done differently, and the way that you approach wars and competition between groups will be done differently. But there's no question there will be that aspect of the game for sure. I love it. Why would it not be in there? It's a fun part of the game for sure.
Have you thought about space? Like we're limited to 50 currently in Clash. Have you thought about that?
Yes, there's a few ways we've talked about approaching that, because we want wars, and I don't think this is something I haven't exposed already. Wars will not be as long. I think that one of the main reasons that burnout happens, and you talked about how you're not burnout, but obviously you're aware that burnout in Clash of Clans is an issue, especially in the war community. I think the reason it happened is because if you give someone 24 hours to plan attacks and to do attacks, someone out there will use that 24 hours. Okay, they will be on, and you know it, I know it. They'll be on for 10, 12-hour shifts. They'll be talking about attacks. They'll be breaking them down. I mean, I used to put videos out that were several hours long, breaking down a single base. And if you want to compete with those people, you have to be willing to do that. Well, that causes burnout. That's not sustainable. I want to avoid that. I think the game can be fun without having that much of a time commitment necessary to play at the highest levels. So I want wars to be much shorter. I want the way you are able to scout and approach an attack to be a much shorter event, to where you don't have days and days to do it. And I want the wars to be smaller, if that makes sense, because of that. Because if you have let's say you have a 2-hour war, you can't have 50 people in it because it's chaos. There's no way to keep that organized. So I think there's a balance there that we'll find in during beta, but it will definitely be war. But it will be, I want to try to avoid to keep people playing at a high level, but avoid burnout at all possible. I hope that makes some sense.
No, that's good. I like it.
Oh yeah.
I want to quickly say that you've got some One Hive supporters in here the whole stream. You have Lady B and Adam. They've literally been here for almost 2 hours supporting. I know they're here because it's One Hive family, but shout out to them for sticking around so long. For you,
shout
Jake.
out to Lady B and Adam. Good
love.
People.
All right, we got a question from Hoosier, and it's about your beta testing. It says, how do you get one of those limited spots in beta? I know that in your videos you've given the email address for people to contact. I assume you're going to look through those emails, see who people are, and choose who you want representing your game?
Well, no, beta won't work that way. There'll be a couple ways. One is that there'll be a limited number of spots, obviously, but several thousand's a lot of spots. People that are interested in it, there's going to be one way to guarantee it, and at some point there'll be a crowdfunding campaign, and there will be a level of support in the crowdfunding campaign that will do two things. One, it will give you that much money in in-game currency. Any of the crowdfunding things will be that way, where if you spend, let's say, $100 hypothetically, you will, when the game launches, have $100 in in-game currency. and at some level of that, you will have a guaranteed beta spot. So that's one way to say, hey, I'm going to be in the beta no matter what. I'm going to play the game no matter what. I'm going to go ahead and put the money up and lock it down. If that does not fill up the spots, then they'll simply be people that follow me on, let's say, Twitter or YouTube or videos or things like that. That I'll put it out there and they'll have a chance to get into it, possibly on Discord, all those places that people follow me and have supported me for a long, long time. I want them to have the opportunity to do it. So,
cool. Thank you. And the last question that we have, and then I'm going to actually ask you. Actually, I'll ask you my question first before I forget it. Modding, this huge deal in Clash of Clans. As a creator, is there a way, like you're creating this game? Is this going to be a problem that's a potential problem that can happen in your game too? Is there a way to create a game that's completely mod proof that people won't be able to cheat in some way? I think it's nearly impossible. What do you?
No,
have you thought about that?
Absolutely, I've thought about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's completely impossible to completely stop it, but there's several things you can do. And the last thing I'll say is the most effective. But let's start at the start. There's ways you can design the game. So when I first met with the devs that we hired, it was one of the first things we talked about. I said, look, every decision you make, everything from the ground up, I want you to make in the back of your mind, how is the best way to make this? What's the hardest way for someone to exploit this or gain access to it when we don't want them to? Mm-hmm. That type of thing. So most of what you see on Clash of Clans is done on your tablet, and most of what you're going to see on our game is going to be done on the server, which is much harder to access, easier to detect, all of those things. So that's going to be one preventative measure there. The other is going to be, and we'll skip all this other boring stuff. The other one's going to be banning, and it's going to be from day one, and it's going to be zero tolerance. And the first time you get caught modding, your account's going to be banned, and you're going to say, thank you for playing. You're banned for life. And if people want to risk that, it's going to eventually get old. You know what I'm saying? We will have means to detect it. There always is. I mean, Clash of Clans can detect it. They might have to continually upgrade things to be able to detect new versions. But if someone gets a lifetime ban on a Town Hall 10, that sucks. I don't care who you are, how much money you think you have. That's going to get old. And so the deterrent of if you get caught doing it, you're going to lose your account, in my mind, is the absolute most effective way. Clash of Clans could do it tomorrow, and in, let's say, 6 months, essentially modding would be dead. If they banned every person that they found and they actively sought them out and lifetime banned them, it's just the most effective way to stop it. So that's going to be the strategy.
Cool. Now, I've seen Clash of Clans do some, clan-wide bans. I believe that's happened, right? Like if someone in your clan is modding, the whole clan will suffer because some type of consequence. Am I wrong on that, or has that happened?
I have not heard of that, and I'm not saying it hasn't happened.
It's not it's a ban from war. Like
right,
the person that was cheating is banned, and then the clan takes like a 15-day break, I think it is, or something like that. They get, or maybe 2 weeks, they get slapped with that just because they've allowed a person, which I got mixed feelings on that. I mean, it's hard to detect if somebody's cheating. I mean, it shouldn't really be the leader of the clan's responsibility. He can look at somebody on Clash of Stats and see if he's been in some known modding clans, but ultimately not everybody's in the Clash community. Not everybody knows about these clans. And so what if you allow a person with mods in your clan and next thing you know, boom, you got a 2-week ban because they rolled out, a scan. I think it should just be the person, obviously, that was modding, was cheating, should be affected.
I agree. But the thing is that what the problem is, and it's not, I've always used this comparison, and the reason is because I think it's applicable, is that it's just like raising a kid. If the rule is not a hard and fast rule, if the punishment is not a big enough deterrent, the kid's going to do what the hell they want to do. If sometimes you get onto them for it, and sometimes you don't, they're going to do it. They're always going to try it. If the punishment is, no, don't do that, that's not good, it's not what I want you to do, and that's all there is, the kid's going to do it. And it's the same thing with cheaters in a game. The punishment has to be swift, it has to be harsh, and it has to be consistent. And if Clash of Clans had done that from the beginning, modding would never have been an issue. Ever. It would have, because nobody wants to lose their Town Hall 9, their Town Hall 10, their Town Hall 11. They just don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And so it's just about consistency. It's not complicated. And it's not something that I even worry about because I know what's going to happen. I've seen it happen. I've seen it in other games. It's just, if you allow it and you're easy on it, it's going to be a problem. And if you're extremely harsh on it and consistent and you seek them out, it's going to be very, very minimal. It's going to happen. People are always going to test the boundaries. But as long as the boundaries are there, they're pretty much going to stay within them.
Fair enough.
I think we lost Echo. It probably had to pee like I did. So.
Oh, he slid out on us, didn't he? He slid out on us. All right, it's time to party, Jake.
No, I'm back. I had to wash my hands. I took that extra few seconds.
See? Exactly. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it.
It was worth it. I feel good about myself right now. So do you think that, I was listening the whole time, do you think that Supercell feels, people are spending money on this game, a lot of money? I can't ban their account. They've spent $500 in the game. How can I ban their account for cheating? Do you think that that's a thought?
I don't know, Jake. When WHF got slapped, Powerbang got a 2-week ban and he wasn't modding. Somebody in his clan got caught. And I would think if that were the case, maybe they wouldn't even do that because, PB's a very prominent guy in the community. Obviously was innocent in this, but got slapped with a 2-week ban. No wars for the clan.
Well, but it's a stupid rule. It's like you pointed out earlier. It's a dumb rule because he didn't do anything wrong. Why should he get banned? And it not even a clan, like an open modding clan where you could say he had knowledge of it. It was a completely innocent bystander. So it's a dumb rule. But the problem has always been that they're not willing to. And like what Echo was saying, they have this like guilt. It's like guilt that they spent money on my game. But when someone downloads a third-party app, it's not like they accidentally found a bug or an exploit and they might have used it because I'm getting free gems or something. I would even be more lenient on someone like that. When someone goes to the extent of jailbreaking their phone and downloading a third-party app, they are trying to cheat in your game and they have signed an agreement saying they would not do that. To have any remorse is silly in my point. And again, it goes back to the analogy of a child. When you feel bad because you have to get on to them because they've broken the rules, then you're not being a very good parent. And I look at being a developer of a game very similar to that.
Good idea. And you were saying that before about the consequences, and the first thing I thought about was parenting and how you handle rules and stuff with your children. It's really the same thing. It's fun. I never thought of it that way until you just said that.
Yep.
All right, I got a question from AJ Carl, and he says, Jake, in your game, would you make huge meta changes to force players to make changes and get out of their safe zone? So I'm guessing with updates to the game, balance changes that completely make you attack differently or do whatever you have to do differently, like redesign differently. I don't know.
I think that's a mistake. I think that huge changes are rarely needed outside of an early beta stage, and I think that's one thing that Clash has been the king of is overcompensating or overcorrecting on some things. In fact, that's one thing that the developers are doing is building the game to where we don't have to do an update even to tweak things. If a troop is a little too strong or something is being used a little too often or too successfully, or a defense needs to be buffed a little bit, we can actually do that server side without even we can release notes and let people know it's happened, but without even actually having a quote-unquote update. So I think that's a mistake to go huge. I think it's more of a matter of constant tweaks to make the game better.
So if you notice, let's say, for instance, there's a particular attacking style in your game that's being utilized a lot, and you guys noticed that, and you noticed that pretty much every war, it was probably 90% that particular attacking method. So do you think you guys would touch that?
Yeah.
Or would you?
I think that's a lack of balance. Don't you? I mean, that's if you look back, let's say, and I always go back to this. So I know it can be done. That's what gets me is when I sat down with the devs, I said, I know balance can be achieved because I saw it. when you go back pre Poison Spell and that Town Hall 9 where, man, it was tough, but when everything went right and when you did it just right and your plan was solid, you got that Town Hall 9 3-star. It was the best feeling. It wasn't easy. Not everybody could do it, but it was there. And it wasn't just one attack. It wasn't just hogs. It was, balloons. It was all these things that you could do if you did it right. It was Valks. It was everything. So I've seen it. It's possible. So why can't it be done again? And why can't it be done at each town hall? I believe it can. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't think so.
I mean, I gotta agree with you. There's I'm kind of looking for some nerfs to happen, but I don't know if they will. But I'm looking for some nerfs right now to happen. But I'm just curious with your game, how you guys are going to police it, and how you guys are going to, if you're going to be actively watching that. So you've answered that quite well. So you can be on the lookout.
Yeah. And I didn't see the question, Echo. I see you sort of moderating, but I'm pretty hard to offend. So if there's a question, I don't mind answering.
He has been here the whole stream. I mean, he was basically, I believe, asking about certain clanmates in the One Hive family that maybe were caught. No names that I even recognize. I don't know. But he's basically saying that there was closet modding going on in One Hive too.
Of course.
And I said it's going to be in all clan families. It's hard to.
Look, here's the thing that I think that that One Hive always strived to do, and I don't think anybody can legitimately say with any objectiveness that we didn't do it, is that we did our best. Is that we would never knowingly let someone cheat. Of course, there were people that cheated in One Hive for a long time, and we didn't find out till much later. But whenever we found out, they were removed. And all we could ever ask any clan is to do the same. Do your best. It's like Clark was talking about earlier. If a person applied from a questionable background, a questionable family, the answer was no. We didn't even take a chance. We're just like, sorry, dude. You play with shit, you get shit on you, and you're not going to be in our clan. We're not going to get shit on us. Now, people could be covert about it, and people could be secretive about it, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing anyone can do. But I feel like we always were on the leading edge of doing our best, of making sure that we vetted people the best we could, that we tried our hardest to make sure the clan was clean. And yes, there's still people, but there's no clan that didn't have that happen. And I still say, if you historically you look back on ban waves and things like that, One Hive has been pretty freaking squeaky clean, as good as anyone at that level. So I have no problems with our history. I have no problem with our past as far as that goes. I'm actually proud of it. So
cool. And people are saying they want to know about the guest. I'm going to announce that pretty soon. We have two more questions. One coming from Goat. What was your biggest frustration with Supercell, and how did it affect your relationship with them? I mean, I think we know your frustrations with them, but do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, communication. And again, they have improved on it, but somehow along the way, there became obviously some bitterness from them towards me. Mm-hmm. And I guess I kind of get that, but I try to, again, I'm especially now that I'm trying to develop a game, I look back at it as if someone was doing what I did, I would not have a problem with them, and I would embrace what their criticisms were. Not that it would always agree with them or do what they wanted to do, but I would have a line of communication with them. Anybody that's got 100,000 subscribers and saying, "Hey, here's what what my circle is looking for in this game," mm-hmm. I'm going to listen to, and I'm not going to be. I don't know what the correct word I'm looking for is, insulted that they've got a problem with an aspect of my game or the way that we're doing things. Again, the answer may be, look, this is the way we're going to do it, but it will be a conversation. It'll be like, look, we're not going to do that, and here's why. And I think that was always my gripe with Supercell, was there was no line of communication. And you mentioned it earlier, Echo. When I finally got into the NDA chat, I thought, oh my God. This is it. The line of communication is open. I'm mm-hmm. going to be able to talk with Supercell and give them my ideas directly. And here we go. And I would write up these elaborate, conversations and ideas and say, here's the problem. Here's what I think would improve on it. And literally no response. In the NDA chat, no response. And I was just like, what is this? Like, what this is insane. And so that's when I sort of my biggest gripe is I just lost it. I was like, man, this is not what I thought it was. This company is not they're not receptive to ideas that are not their own. And I just hope that I know that I won't be that way.
Well, I mean, I'm in the NDA now, and one of my favorite things about being NDA, I mean, I honestly don't even care about having the developers build. I don't care as much about being able to play things before other people.
I never even used the developer build. It was hilarious. I don't think I ever played it.
I was just saying something like that to Goon earlier, because Goon just got NDA this past week, so congratulations to him finally
awesome.
Getting where he wanted to be, which is great. But now I think contact and communication is good. I feel like if I want to reach out and get someone from Supercell, I can get in touch with them. I don't go to them with the kind of things that you were going to them with. It's more surface stuff. I think it's improved. Yeah. They have Darian, the new community manager as well, who's probably someone different than who you were dealing with.
For sure.
But so in my experience, it's been okay. But like I said, we're talking about a whole different group of people. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah, years apart for sure. But that's my biggest gripe. No, hands down, communication.
Safe to assume you're not in the NDA for Supercell anymore.
No. You won't see that.
Gotta ask. All right, I have one last question. Did I say Darian or did I say Davian? I think I said Darian. Time to Clash. He asks another question just because he doesn't want it to end. Of all the ideas you've seen from other content creators, so YouTubers, what idea did you wish you've come up with first and used yourself?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh God, I need a minute.
I'll answer.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to think.
There's nothing that I thought that I did that someone else did first. I mean, obviously there's people coming out with great ideas. But I wish that I got on I've been doing websites, gaming related stuff for, I think it's been 7 years. I wish I got onto the whole Clash of Clans YouTube thing earlier. I wasn't there in the prime of Clash of Clans when, I wasn't on YouTube when I should have been to see the growth and stuff that I want to see on YouTube. I mean, I look back, I love, one of my favorite things to do is look back on successful channels. So like the other day I went to Chief Pat and Nick at Night, and I went back and looked at some of their first videos. And you look at the videos and you look at, the success that they've seen, and, they were just like any of the rest of us starting out. They were the same as all of us. We all started in the same spot, but not saying that what they don't do is great, because I do really enjoy their content. I think that they're great creators, but they were also in the right spot at the right time. So if it were me, I wish I would have just gotten on the wagon earlier, and instead of making these websites that I was doing about gaming, got onto YouTube, which is a lot easier because I don't have to worry about security, about managing my website, about managing staff. I could have just, gotten on the scene earlier. So no specific
I don't know, man.
content.
For me, like the community right now, it's so much more supportive. In my feeling, like early on, obviously I was making some videos, but not a whole lot. But the community was a little bit more, I guess, cold shouldered. But it seems like now the community is like full of people that show the love and support. And I don't know, man. To me, it was a lot different in the earlier days. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't know, man. The support's amazing right here lately.
It's this is a tough one for me because, as I said, there's a whole different world when you guys started doing YouTube. It was a whole different world than when I started, because back then, as you guys well know, you had Chief Pat, you had Galadon, you had these guys doing Clash, Godson, all these guys, but it was one of the reasons that I started moving the channel in the direction it went. It's because none of it taught you anything. It was entertainment, and that's fine. It is what it is, but it was like, that wasn't me. I didn't like watching those videos because I didn't learn anything. I was like, why am I watching this? This guy is not, first of all, it's not my type of humor. And second of all, I'm trying to find how to get better at this game because I'm a competitive person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I went. And once I started YouTube, I really didn't watch other content creators almost intentionally because I didn't want to do what other people were doing. And so to say what did I wish I would have come up with, I don't know. I always tried to do something that someone else wasn't doing. And I hope I did that. I I don't have another one. I don't have a good answer for. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to dodge it.
No,
I would totally tell you if there was one, but nothing's coming to my mind.
So what you're saying is you came to do what you were doing, and you did what you wanted to do. You followed your path, and you're happy where it took you. Is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, and
There's nothing wrong with that,
I
man.
literally went out of my way to, unless someone sent me a video, said, "Hey, you need to watch this video," which was often just a how-to attack, which I don't feel like was a, something I wish I would have figured out how to do because we did how-to attacks early on. It was, I didn't watch other videos. I didn't watch other, even like Powerbang and Clash of the Ash. I didn't watch their content. I didn't want to be, and they were much smaller when I was doing it than I was, but not even that. I didn't want to do what anyone else was doing. I went out of my way to try to avoid that.
All right, and yeah, that's fine, man. That's the last of our questions. We've hit all of them. I don't know how many questions we've had, but it was definitely the most questions we've ever had here on the Spring Trap. A lot of people wanted to know about you and what you're working on, Jake. It's a cool thing, man.
Well, I want to keep, and I want to do more. Sometime in the future when I get more, as the game progresses, as the new game progresses, I want people to know what's going on. I don't want it to be a secretive thing without, giving away all the I guess the innovative things that we're trying to do. But I want to know what the game is, what stage it's at, and different parts of it. So I will continue to do my best. And it's a slow moving process. I want people to know. It's not that I would love to do a video every week, but there's just nothing different this week from last week in this stage of the progress. So as things move along, I hope to continue to give updates, come on shows like this, and just sort of talk about it because I want you guys to know. I want you to be excited like I am.
Cool.
I think I like the informational videos you're putting out. It's good to make one every now and then. Let people know, hey, I'm still working on this thing. It's good, man. I've been checking them out. That's how I found out about the in-game communication. And I think that's important, man. So definitely utilize your channel and your sub power to get that information out there. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, man. If you ever want to come back on the trap, in a couple of months when things are rolling more along with your game and you want to share it with people, you're more than welcome to come back. I know that the community would welcome you here, and we definitely would as well. So always keep that in the back of your mind. You know how to get in touch with us if you ever want that.
For sure, and I will. Again, we have the investor meeting at the end of February. And just let me throw that out there real quick. It's unlikely that anyone here hasn't heard about that already. But in the strange event that someone will want to attend that, February 23rd, we're having the investor meeting, and then we'll be doing a few other meetings with other potential investor type things. After that, March-ish, I should know more. You know what I mean? It should be more about hiring on new staff, more developers, art people, sound people, those type of things. So I think that'd be interesting for people to sort of see in that time frame. Between now and then, it's just about preparing for that. So there's not a lot that I can say, but I want to keep people up to date as best as I can.
That's cool, and I appreciate it, man. So I guess
definitely.
Before we say all of our goodbyes, I guess we should tell you who our guest is going to be next week. I want to thank According to Goat for getting us in touch with this guest and for making it happen. But we have Darian coming on from Supercell, the Supercell community manager, coming on the show next week, which is going to be pretty cool. In speaking with Darian, he's only done a couple of shows with other people. I know he did one with Clash with Ash and one with Powerbang. So we're going to have him back here next week, and you guys could throw all of your questions at him regarding Clash of Clans. It's going to be fun. It's going to be pretty cool. We're excited about having him on the show, and it's just going to be sweet. So, yeah, Darian's coming to the show next week. It's going to be on Saturday, 10 p.m. He's actually waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, Helsinki, Finland time, and just to be on the show with us. So it's going to be awesome. We're stoked just because, it's going to be our 10th episode of the Spring Trap, and the community manager of Supercell wants to come on. Honestly, our guests have been amazing already on the show.
Absolutely.
So, Goat and I are feeling pretty happy. Feeling pretty good about where the show's going.
Listen, that's awesome. Congratulations on that. You guys, do me a favor. Don't take it easy on him. Every time I see an interview with those guys, people take it too easy on them. Ask them the questions that these people want to know. You know what I mean? Be the voice of the people.
This is the Spring Trap, man. He already knows that questions are going to come through, and he actually welcomed the hard questions in my discussion with him. you know, I'm not going to let anyone throw hate, just
Matter
like
of
I wouldn't
fact,
let anyone
hey,
throw hate at you. But
Jake, you can submit a question, man. I mean,
I think I will.
we
Hey, let me tell you this though, and I know what you're saying, Echo. Supercell sucks is not a question, and that's not constructive. But like I said, there's tough questions that are legitimate questions. Those are the ones I
right,
want.
right.
well, Jake, if you happen to be in the chat, Jake, and you're throwing
I will
questions
put a
out,
question.
I promise you, I'll copy paste them into my thing over there.
I'll put a question. I'll put a question.
I
Right,
may
right.
even mod you in the chat if you want, man. Just a courtesy.
You
You know?
just don't let me forget. Don't let me forget. Like you
We'll
message
get
me
you.
next week, so I don't forget.
We'll get you. We'll tag you in it, man. We'll definitely
Yeah.
tag you in it.
So
But
that's
hey,
gonna be an
guys,
exciting
everybody,
episode.
that's for everybody. Get those questions ready. You've got a week to prepare. So get them ready. Hit us up on Discord. Hit us up on Twitter. Get those questions in. The questions that we get submitted first obviously take precedence on the ticker. And then, of course, viewer questions last. And sometimes we got to skip around. So you want to get your questions in first. Get them in via Twitter, via Discord.
Yeah. So exciting stuff coming next week. We had exciting stuff right here with Jake. We had exciting stuff last week with Klaus. It's going well. The spring trap is going strong. I have big plans. So does Goon. This is gonna be a fun time. And if nothing else, we're still here hanging out with good people, having a good time. I want to thank you guys for staying around in the chat for so long. This show's been going on for 2 hours and 18 minutes, and there have been faces that I've seen in this chat for that whole time. It's Sunday night. We have work in the morning. What the heck are we doing right now? I guess the show is just that much fun. How do you miss it?
Hey,
I mean,
this is the love, man. This is what I'm talking about. This community right now is full of love. I've been in the community a long time. I've known Jake a long time. The community went through some phases, but right now, dude, this is cock love right here. Cock love.
yes. I'd call it COC love, but it is. It definitely is.
Yep. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean,
double
man.
stuff.
I know what
you
you
know
mean.
what I mean.
But Jake, I want to just thank you again personally right here in front of everyone, taking the time out to come be part of the show. Really, it was a big deal for the show to get someone like you to come on it, and it was really just great to meet you finally. I mean, I've been doing YouTube here for almost 2 years, never got to even speak to you, and now I got to spend the last 2.5 hours with you, which has been a lot of fun. Looking forward to your game and hopefully being part of it when it does come out. Any last things you want to say to everyone that we've had here throughout the show before we sign off?
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for having me. It was fun. Good to meet you for sure. Cleric, good to hang out with you again, man. Follow us on Twitter. Obviously, you can follow me on Twitter at OneHive Raids if you want to. I tweet out most things, but also the the game company does have a Twitter account, Done Right Games. It's spelled wrong, DUNRITE Games. Should be easy to find. And it's pretty jank looking right now. I'm not gonna lie. We don't have artwork and all that stuff done. It's all being in the process. But again, we're so early on. You're gonna get updates there, and you're gonna want to follow it from there on out. So go ahead and get it followed up, and you'll get to sort of keep up with what we're doing. Because again, we're gonna constantly try to keep that information coming to you guys throughout the process. Because it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting to see how a game, at least for me, and I think for you guys, how a game gets made. You know what I mean? I want to take y'all along on that ride.
That's going to be a journey, man. I would love to be part of that.
Nice.
Really, really would. I see World of Clash just came in. World of Clash is another big YouTuber who's been coming in and being part of the Spring Trap in the chat for a while now. Thanks for coming in, man. I just announced it a moment ago. I think you missed it that we have Darian from Supercell coming, the community manager next week. It's going to be a ton of fun. Goon, I'm giving you the mic. Any last words you'd like to say? Any heartwarming things you want to say to the audience?
First off, I'm going to tell Jake, we happen to know somebody that's is really good with artwork. She was on our 8th show. Her name's Evil Queen. She is actually in the chat right now. Other than that, guys, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and support us. I'm not sure if this has been the largest audience on the trap, but it's pretty big. And Jake, thank you so much, man. You know, I reached out to Jake. He was like, absolutely, man, I'll be on the trap. And I was so thankful, man. Like I said, I've known you a long time, you know, and just never, you know, we kind of hit and miss on different things. Jake was very instrumental for me learning Clash, man. Your videos were so awesome, dude, informative. You know, suck less. Everybody in the Clash community, I think, knows suck less. Matter of fact, dude, I paid you some homage on a first-person shooter game on Star Wars Battlefront. I named it. I entitled it "Suck Less," and it was a tutorial on how to suck less on Star Wars. That's awesome. And you know,
Unfortunately, the video got like 10 views because of the title.
Come on, it got more than that. It got more than that. But the thing is, everybody owes you, man, in the Clash community, a lot of respect, man. You did do a lot for the talent pool in Clash. You came out with these great tutorial videos and explained everything to where people could understand. And man, thank you for that. I mean, my channel does a lot. It continues a lot of what you did, and you pioneered it basically. And I came in and I loved your content, and so my channel does a lot of similar content to what you was doing when you were clashing. So thank you so much, man.
So what Goon's basically, what he's trying to say is he basically, once you stopped, he basically just stole everything that you're doing on your channel. He just copied your channel. Echo. I mean, he has some artwork in the making. It's got bees on it. It's very yellow.
Yeah. I think it's suck not as much. I think that's my new tag.
Don't suck as
not as much.
Yeah.
He'll
do what he has to do to get where he wants to be. He's just that kind of guy. It's just
but you guys you're too kind. That I feel like a lot of people in the Clash community are too kind when it comes to my history. I hope in some small way again that I did make the game better, that I did help with the competitive community, but I think probably most of the time it's overblown. But I take the compliment, so thank you.
You should take them. They're well earned, man. But guys, again, thank you all so much for the support as the weeks go on. Thank you for sticking with us for 2.5 hours today. It's been a great show. I had a great time doing it with you guys. The show it is. That's what I mean. And we're going to be back next week on Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time with the Springtrap Darien week, episode 10 of the show. If you haven't followed us on Twitter, our Twitter names, our handles are underneath our faces. Also, Jake shared the Done Right Games one as well. I believe in your One Hive Raids Twitter, there's a link, or so you can get to Done Right from there as well. But guys, that's been it for today. I hope you enjoyed the trap. If you want your questions for Darien next week, make sure that you get them in on Twitter, Discord, or just any way that you can get in touch with us. We want those questions. We want you here on the show as well. But that's been it, guys. Thanks so much for the love. I appreciate it. Everyone wave. We're out of here. Take care, guys, and be good.
Peace.
Later.